Welcome back to Unknown Armies Season 1 on Vorpal Tales. I am Eric at Maroon Recluse on Twitter, your game master for this terrifying tale series that continues with our first storyline, Burn. Due to the mature themes of horror and violence explored in our tale, we encourage listener discretion. We are Vorpal Tales, and we play a wide assortment of games 7 days a week that fall into two categories: awesome adventures and terrifying tales. Be sure to check out the calendar on vorpaltales.com to stay up to date with all of our shows. Check out Atlas Games' suite of tabletop RPGs and board games on atlas-games.com, where you can get a physical or digital copy of awesome games like Unknown Armies. Remember to follow Vorpal Tales on Twitch. Visit our website to find a link to join our Discord. We are on most major social media outlets, including YouTube, where you can catch up on previous episodes. So remember to follow, subscribe, and hit the bell to get all the updates. Vorpal Tales is also on DriveThruRPG, by the way. Check out some of our very own Vorpal Tales supplements that include characters, monsters, and scenarios made for many of the games we play weekly. We want to thank Atlas Games for making awesome games for us to play and for providing support to their players. Special credit goes out to Nocturnum, spelled NCTRNM, for the use of their song Driveway Mix 2. Least Upperbound and Repulsive Sound for their tracks as well. Check out more awesome tunes at nocturnum.bandcamp.com, secretpress.bandcamp.com, as well as YouTube, Instagram, and SoundCloud under Repulsive Sound. Our adepts and avatars of the underground are here and ready to bring their fork to the table. Players, please remind our audience who you are, where they can find you online, and who you will be playing this afternoon. Let's begin with Alan.
Hey guys, my name's Alan. You can find me on the internet at The Eldritch Keeper, and today I'll be playing Damien.
Yes. Alright. And, Key.
Hello, I am Kisama. You can find me on Twitter at TrueKisama. And this morning, doesn't matter, I'll be playing Lucius.
Yes, Lucius. Time is irrelevant. Corey.
Hi, I'm Corey, aka Narf on the interwebs, Twitch, Twitter, etc. And tonight I will be playing and tonight I will be playing Jesse Price, the BattleBots engineer, who is him.
Excellent. Special shout out for all you fathers out there. Happy Father's Day. I'm going to proceed now with a short recap of the previous session. Our cabal heard several shots fired outside and instinctively ducked for cover. 2 other police cruisers pulled up. 2 deputies grabbed and hauled William away to stow in their vehicles, and the other 2 proceeded to empty the magazines of their assault rifles into Gus and his van. Agreeing they needed to leave, Lucius remembered hearing about a conspiracy involving how many of the colleges in New England reportedly had secret tunnels created by the Freemasons that linked them to one another. Ripping up the carpet beneath the computer desk at that frat house, he found a strange-looking hatch that led into the sewers below. Sean stood guard with the shotgun and waited for everyone to descend before training his aim on the fire extinguisher at the back exit. When a tall and dangerous-looking deputy walked through with a deadly automatic, he fired. White gas filled the room, creating a smoke screen for the team to successfully escape from. Lucius expertly covered their tracks, the deputies unable to follow. The conspiracy theorist bartender experienced a moment of panic when he realized that they were abandoning William to his fate with the sleepers. He ran as fast as he could. Alex proved to be faster, however, pushing him against the wall of the tunnel. "We can't do this to William. He wouldn't have done it to us, and you know it," she yelled. The group debated over how to confront and defeat the deputies when both remaining vehicles could be heard speeding away from the scene. Moving to a manhole cover, Damien and the others re-emerged next to the frat house. The real police would be along soon and would want answers to important questions. Before leaving, Damien went to check on Gus and the van. To his surprise, Gus didn't appear to have a single mark on him. The old man didn't waste any time, however. Upon seeing him, he asked for the keys to their car. His van, you see, was shot. As he drove away from the frat house, waves of actual police cruisers swarmed the area. With some bold and expert driving, Gus was able to put some distance between himself and the police. Helicopters made this difficult on the side streets, so they jetted to the freeway. After getting away from the so-called police, The group still had many burning questions. How do you kill a split? Same way you kill anything else, Gus responded. What are sleepers? The boogeymen of the occult underground. People causing too much trouble to the social order with their magics or out-of-control avatar powers would receive a special visitation from them in the form of a pillow to the face followed by a gunshot. Who really controls the government? Well, that doesn't matter. Learn to ask better questions. Who is Frank Gordon? An annihilomancer and sociopath. Frank has been faking his death and trying to escape Gus and the others for many years. He had engineered a proxy ritual of some sort that would redirect any queries or attacks on his person to someone else. In this particular case, a proxy cloud was hung over the heads of our protagonists. As to why they were chosen, this was an interesting question. One he would need more time for him to develop an answer. Everyone's phones began to ring. Sean answered to an anonymous caller, and afterwards all the other phones ceased ringing. He was greeted by a deep-voiced man who offered to make a trade in 2 hours at a local park. An even exchange. William for Sean. I'm not stupid, Sean said. I want proof. A text message appeared with a bloody and bruised Will strapped to a chair in a darkened place, and a gun in his mouth. You have 2 hours to meet us. Otherwise, we're going to hurt him more, the voice promised. I'll be seeing you soon, Sean said, never agreeing to anything. Someone proposed a plan to get William back. If Damien's magic was correct, they could surprise the sleepers and rescue their friend before they had a chance to do anything else. The team would have less than 2 hours to do this. Good luck, Gus breathed. Plans rarely survive contact with the enemy. Since going to the police was not an option, Lucius suggested they acquire weapons. He spoke about how, during the Cold War, the Soviets had used PepsiCo containers to move around munitions and supplies to their allies in Central and South America. If the sleepers' current whereabouts were on the outskirts of Jersey City in an old industrial park, what could be the chances of there being an old Pepsi plant that holds a weapons cache? The magic 8-ball of the universe answered with a resounding, "You may rely on it." After getting into a firearms altercation with a local gang whose container they happened to be raiding, Lucius was shot in the back, but it was made better when Damien used his chaos magic to turn it into a slight graze. Once he turned their guns into snakes, the group grabbed what munitions they could and fled. Low on charges, Damien walked half a block away to a biker bar Lucius knew about. He interrupted a game of darts, plopped down $250, and promised to give it to the first person who successfully bullseyed his hand with the dartboard. With every hit and miss, Damien felt his power increase. The universe owed him, and it was already time to cash in. Alex and Jesse remained in the car with the engineer using a drone to drop a grenade as a distraction out front. The rest of the team followed Gus's lead up the side of the fire escape to the top floor where 3 of the 4 deputies were keeping William. The explosion drew out one of the sleeper deputies. Jesse's battle bot raced in and attempted to cut him to ribbons, but soon found itself withering and falling apart at an alarming rate. The sleepers, it turned out, had a chaos mage of their own. Upstairs, Gus got the drop on one of the deputies and killed them with a well-placed shot to the head. The remaining ones turned their automatics at him and fired at full auto, causing him to fall back from the force. Sean successfully hit one of the deputies with his shotgun. Unfortunately for him, these were not gangers like before and wore body armor. After a moment, they rose and returned fire from cover. In retaliation, a large and scary-looking sleeper moved to Sean and placed their hands on his head. Suddenly, Sean's skin was reshaped and he could no longer see, hear, or breathe. He panicked and collapsed, unable to scream without a mouth, his lungs burning for air. The sleepers, it seemed, had an epiteromancer as well as a chaos mage. Lucius, having no real training in firearms, used suppressive fire to keep the deputies behind cover. Sean took a moment to retrieve a pocket knife and cut a hole in his face so that he could breathe again. Stumbling with the blade, he attempted to free William of his bonds, cutting fingers and hands as he went. Dusting off the bullet casings, Gus rose again and made eye contact with the skin mage. Something occurred in that moment. that caused the tall and imposing sleeper mage to fall to the ground screaming and weeping into his hands. Gus wasted no more time and blew his brains out. Realizing who it was they were up against, the sleepers issued a retreat over their walkies. It's him again, the Comte. Time to bug out. Who? What? Who's here? Saint Germain, we need to go now. The remaining 2 deputies left out the back, and the group fled out through the front, piling uncomfortably into Jesse's car and driving off into the night. And that's where we left off. So, you successfully got into an altercation with the sleepers and actually took out quite a few of them. After their numbers, to be exact. You managed to flee the scene in Jesse's car. I'm assuming Jesse's doing the driving at this point.
Actually, that was Jesse was
Alex.
Yeah, Alex is driving. Jesse was in the passenger seat. Probably jumped back into the back seat to open doors as people were running up to the car and shit. You know.
Yeah. Okay. So you all managed to drive out of the area. You see Gus is like, get on the highway. He's like, head northeast. He's not driving this time, so he's just the backseat driver. This is the time when you get to kind of look at him and see, like, there really isn't a single mark on him. Bullets just hit him, and he got forced back by the kinetic energy, but nothing serious. Like, this guy can eat bullets, apparently. And he just casually lights up a cigarette and rolls down the window.
Hey,
you know.
Are you still in the mood to answer questions, Gus?
He kind of shrugs. He's like, "Now's not a great time." He says, looks around. He looks like he's casually like smoking a cigarette, but he's actually, you catch him like looking in the rear view and like looking over your shoulders, like out the back window to check for tails.
Who's Saint Germain?
I don't know. It's another name they gave me.
Why?
What does it matter? He says. You're alive. You're all alive for now.
It matters when you shrug off bullets the way you do.
Yeah, well, it's not as great as you think it is. He's like, turn over here, get on the highway, you get on the ramp, and he's like, starts directing you to basically get on the major highway that leads, the major highway in New Jersey, like, I forget, I think it's like I-95 or I-10 or something like that, but like, basically get on the loop, he tells you, and he's like, start heading out. And you're kind of like, where are we going?
They did something that destroyed my bot. Like, completely. It just started throwing, like, all the screws fell off of it.
Tough shit. What do you want me to tell you?
Well,
Chaos Mage. It'll do that to you.
Is there anything we can do to prevent it next time?
Kind of like fishes in his like jacket pocket, and he's like, "Oh yeah, pick this up," and he pulls out a Barbie doll. That Barbie doll that was completely nude and it had like the weird markings on it and like black tape in different places and stuff. He's like, "Oh yeah, pull this off with that epitomancer I killed." And tosses one of you in the back like this little action figure. It's very disturbing to look at.
Why?
That'll start a charge to come at you, but after too many, it'll burn up the doll. I've seen those before. Chaos Mage probably made it for his epitomancer friend. Well, he's dead now, so it doesn't matter. It's yours now.
Okay.
This isn't like a voodoo doll or something, right?
No, it's not like a voodoo doll. It's kind of like a stop magic from blowing your brains out doll.
Escape doll.
Okay.
Lets you escape.
Yeah, well, they'll let you do that for sure. You're smart. He's like, you're gonna get on the, you're gonna take this exit, and you're gonna start heading, you're going straight without stopping. We're gonna head to New Hampshire. Probably need to stop along the way to gas up and get rested. You'll look like shit. Probably need to get that taken a look at. By the way, he says, and he points to a good majority of you actually got injured throughout this whole process.
How's
The
my
most
hand?
injured is Damien and Sean. Those you two are pretty banged up. It's gonna take some time. I mean, you had like several darts like thrown at it, and you're just like, you feel like one of them at least hit like a nerve center or something. Because like anytime you go to do something with your hand, it's like It's like, yeah, you're gonna want to take some time to get that looked at. Yeah, disinfect it, whatever. First opportunity you get, you pull into one of the rest stops. We need to get out of the state as soon as possible. Those weren't real cops back there, or at least
We could fly.
They were cops. They're secret cops. What's that?
We could fly.
Who could? Not recommended, he says.
Fair enough.
Also not good considering all the fucking weird mojo you've got carrying around with you. When it's when weird stuff happens on the ground, that's one thing. When weird shit starts happening in the air, bad shit happens.
Lucius starts writing down mana interacts with chemtrails.
Chemtrails are real! Exclamation marks. Eventually you pull into like a little plaza that is kind of like a rest stop. You're all beat to shit and exhausted. You've had the most exhausting last 48 hours of your life. Like, this is like the most traumatic information dumps you've ever had. And this guy just takes it in stride. Like, it's a Tuesday for him or whatever, you know. Kind of goes about his business, and he's like, I'm gonna go get another pack of Lucky Strikes. Anybody want anything from the store?
Water.
All right. Sit tight. I think, you know, don't wander off. He says, and gets up and goes into the gas station. You see Alex, like, for the first time, just kind of like pulls back from the driver's seat, and she's like in tears. You know, she's kind of like having a moment.
I suggest we switch drivers.
Yeah, let's do that. Also, why don't we ditch this guy? This guy's obviously crazy or dangerous or both. I mean, since we first ran into him, like, people have literally shot police officers. What the fuck are we doing right now?
Well, for the moment, he's the only person with some kind of answers.
But can we trust him? She asks.
Can you trust anyone?
You see, when you start
or after us.
What he's saying, a lot of what he's saying is true. I think, like, you know, he's like thinking like all the research that I've done, like everything that he said makes sense. And if you know what I've studied over the years, yeah, we don't want to fly right now because we've been hexed or we've been cursed somehow. This thing that got put on our backs by this Frank Gordon person, it's fucking up our lives, and it's gonna continue to do that. You see, Sean's just like nursing a wound, and he's just like, I just want my son back. I don't know what all of this means, but
I'm gonna pull the four of us away from Sean and like let the Sean and why can't I remember William? Yeah, Sean and William, like, let them hang out in the car while we're like outside stretching or something, and I'll kind of quietly bring up, so does anyone feel like it might have something to do with the fact that I don't think either of those two are supposed to be here?
Alex is like, what do you mean they're not supposed to be here?
Well, Sean didn't exist until I saved him 10 years ago in our flashback.
Yeah.
And William says he's from the past.
Yeah, this is all really weird. And it's like, yeah, Sean, I guess I remember. The weird thing is, I can remember Sean when we were kids at the orphanage, and us having to like go to his funeral along with the other ones. We changed something when we brought him out of there along with some of those other kids, and now here we are with William, and he's out of time. What does that mean? What does any of this mean?
Personally, I think we gave both Sean and his split an opportunity to have a life.
isn't his split trying to kill him right now?
And everything he's ever known, yeah.
Oh, fuck. Wait,
Anyway.
did Bill say something about splits? Like he drove into the crossroads and like there were 3 other versions of him?
Yes.
Is that what's happening to him? And she looks over to Sean. Is that what could happen to us?
Well, we don't know that our... I don't think I have a split. But I don't know how I would know. I just don't feel like... I haven't been haunted by my split. Like, Sean has been obviously haunted by his.
Who's to say we
Maybe that
never
go ahead.
didn't have a split? We could have always had splits. Just
Go
not
ahead,
have known
Alan.
it until now.
What were you saying, Alan?
I was like, what if the split is the universe trying to correct itself?
You see, Alex recalls, like, I think that's what those 2 people were, right? Those 2 entities back at the orphanage, the nun and the priest.
If they were coming for William.
That's true.
You know, they're not supposed to be here from the get-go, so that maybe we're interfering with something we shouldn't be interfering with. Maybe they're supposed to die.
That's terrible, she says.
It's terrible, but they're not supposed to be here.
We already went to his funeral.
I'm not supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be in bed. I'm supposed to go to work tomorrow.
No.
She says.
You're alive. You're in this reality. You survived. They originally did not survive. We went back, saved them, and that fucked everything up.
Well, that's fucked up, she says. That's not right.
Exactly. Maybe because it's not right, the universe is trying to correct itself.
You gotta get what she's getting at. She's basically saying, like, if that's what it is, then this whole thing is a raw deal. Like,
Yeah. Well, you know, the universe.
Look.
You know?
We've also somehow been given an opportunity to make the choice. And when it really comes down to it, like, we get to make that choice every minute.
Meanwhile, Sean and William are just kind of hanging out over by the car, like seeing you 3 like huddle up or you 4 rather huddle up and talking amongst each other, and they're like, "Hey, what's up? Want a beer?" That's about the extent of their conversation. Eventually, Gus comes back out and he's got a couple shopping bags full of stuff, more than he did originally when you were escaping from the cops and he stopped to get supplies and food, snacks, and stuff. He comes back with, like, he throws each of you that are injured like a bottle of water and a bottle of like hydrogen peroxide. He has like a small like first aid kit and kind of pulls out on the hood of the car, gets out some gauze and starts like helping to bandage each one of you individually.
I wasn't injured, so I'm gonna, while he's doing that, take note of, like, which is effectively, because that was already the spare battle bot, so I'm assuming I have, like, no supplies right now left. So I'm gonna, like, try to put together whatever I can to, like, fashion some sort of remote control weapon.
See, Gus is like, "Do you mind?" He kind of, while you're putting together, like, your robotic stuff, like, you see Gus is going around to each one, to Alex, to you, Damien, to Sean, and like, just, "Hey, do you mind if I take a look at that?" And Alex reluctantly agrees to do so a second time, and kind of goes in and starts looking at her leg wound and puts something on it that smells, and then he kind of like pulls her pant leg down and it's like, "Just keep your weight off of that, and should be good in about 24 hours. She's like, "Thanks." She wipes a tear, and you see he's like, he kind of does a once over all of you. Sees like you grouped up into 2 different packs, as it were, and he's like, "All right, I guess it's time for question and answer lightning round. Let's find a place nearby to hunker down for a little while. You guys get some sleep, and I'll explain things better in the morning. You all need some rest."
Is anyone hungry?
I'm starving.
Ellie?
Oh, I got something for that too. And he pulls up the other bag that doesn't have any medical supplies, and he's got like gas station burritos and things like that. Some energy drinks. He's like,
Lucius asks, "Are you psychic?"
Are there any
As he
donuts?
reaches for a burrito.
What's that?
Any donuts?
Oh, sure. Yeah,
All
of
right.
course. Lamp heated donuts. Here you go.
Yeah.
And with that, he kind of, he drives this time down the street. Eventually, he gets you to this little motel place that's on the side of the highway on the way out of New Jersey. After driving for about an hour or so, he checks. He's like, "Don't worry about checking in. I'll take care of that." He's like, "I'm gonna get us 2 rooms on the top floor. It's like a Days Inn or something,
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. And he lets you get some rest. While he checks you into 2 different rooms, he kind of like pulls a desk close to like the window, and he doesn't smoke indoors for you all, but every once in a while he steps outside and he smokes a cigarette. He doesn't sleep the whole time. He never lays down. He doesn't close his eyes. He's often at the desk, like scribbling notes or something into an old notebook. Looks like he's thinking about something and trying to find words, and then he fills something in a sentence or 2, and then he stops. He looks out a window for like an hour or so, and eventually returns back and writes something else in, closes the notebook, opens back up again a couple hours later, and on it goes the rest of the evening. You're all pretty exhausted. You need to get some rest. Do you do anything but that before the next morning?
At some point, Lucius would try to sneak a look at that notebook.
Roll secrecy.
Yeah. That.
Did you roll under? Oh, you have a 35% and you rolled a 42.
Yeah.
So that's a negative. Okay.
That's a.
He doesn't have to look over his shoulder to know that you're spying on him. And he's like, "Do you really want to know?"
No.
He just keeps on writing.
Oh, I was going to ask if I could flip the numbers because my noble trait is make all knowledge accessible to all.
Oh, yes. Oh, very good call on that. Okay, excellent. Yeah, all right. So yeah, you actually you're like you managed to like peek over his shoulder. He's working on a sonnet.
Is it just like a normal sonnet, or is it like morbid or something? Hey,
It's in a very like fancy looking script. Like he's very like nice cursive, and so it's kind of hard to read. But yeah, you do manage to glimpse a couple of letters, a couple of things, a couple of words that jump out at you. It seems like a sort of melancholy style sonnet from what you can gather.
All right. Yeah. And Lucius isn't going to ask questions. He's just going to like roll back over after taking a peek in the middle of the night.
He keeps on writing into the evening. Damien, Corey, do any of you do anything, or you just like collapse and wait till the next morning?
Rest, tend my wounds. Take painkillers if I can get painkillers, and yeah, just relax and heal.
Yeah. You all have difficult times sleeping. The recent gunshots pop up in your mind in the middle of the night, and you kind of take a deep breath, and it takes a moment or 2 to get back into your slumber. And Gus notices a few times, and he kind of chuckles under his breath, and he's like, you're gonna have to get used to that over time. Huh. Damien, you think about the other one, the one who didn't make it, it seems. You seem to have memories of not being a chaos mage. You don't know where that's from. Are they somebody else's, or did something change when you drove through the crossroads? You're not sure. Something definitely happened to you, and you changed as a result. Jesse, you're back home. You're getting out of the car, and you're going inside. And you can hear the sounds of machinery on the inside of your house, like as you're walking in, like somebody's in your workshop. It's eerily quiet inside. Clocks are just ticking in the background. You kind of saunter through the living room space, and eventually you get to the your workspace, and you're like, "Who the fuck is in here tinkering away?" And you open the door, and as you round the corner, you see two individuals. One is laying at an incline, almost like a 90-degree incline, and the other one is just to the right of them. They seem to be working on something. Their chest is open, revealing all sorts of bits and pieces and parts that are churning and whirring. Tick tock, just kind of clicking along. And the one working on them, they look very similar. And then it's like walking into like a surgery unannounced, like unexpectedly. You kind of freeze for a moment as you realize what's happening, and both the subject and the doctor turn to look at you. They're also you. Different versions of you? You're not sure. But the one on the slab at the incline is also you, and is some sort of construct. And then the one who's administering to them is also you, except they're missing one of their eyes. They have a patch over one of them. And when you look at when you lock eyes with that one, you recall that moment in the crossroads when your car hit something. And when you got out, you looked and you saw what looked to be like the corpse of a desiccated animal with these weird internal pieces, these cogs and weird adjustments and additions ticking away. And it tried to claw itself free from underneath your car, you thought, because it was going to attack you. But you didn't give it the chance to do anything else. You chopped it to pieces with your bot. But you remember, one of the last things that you remember from that creature was the one eyeball that it had inside of its head. One that matches the good doctor with the eye patch. Your eye. And then you wake up the next morning. You see Gus has assembled some semblance of a breakfast from the downstairs motel lobby. It looks like stale donuts and even worse coffee. He's like, takes a sip. He's like, "Coffee sucks, but it's better than nothing," he says, and he puts a picture of it on the table that he was using to write his sonnet last night. He finishes his cigarette, throws it outside, shuts the door. He brings everybody inside once they're awake. Alex and William and Sean like take a seat around one of the remaining hotel rooms. And he's like, "Okay, question lightning round, part 2. I'll wait until you're finished cleaning up, as it were." He allows you to take a moment to shower in the bathroom or relieve yourself or whatever you want, grab a cup of coffee, and then when you're ready, he'll begin answering any and all of your questions to the best of his ability, now that you're in a private confines. Who would like to go first? No takers? Alex asks the obvious question. What are you? He looks at her and he's like, "I'm the oldest man in the world."
What's your
What do
secret?
you mean by that?
Means
that's
exactly what I
As in,
said.
like,
It means.
literally, or
I've been around for forever. And I've seen every iteration you can of this world that you can probably imagine. Remember I told you how the world ends once all 333 archetypes ascend to the clergy?
Yeah.
Gets remade? Well, that happened. and it will continue to happen over and over and over again. And I've seen all of them. I can't die. I get old. I age with how when the role is getting ready to end. The closer we get to that, the older I tend to get.
How old does he look?
Yeah.
In his 80s and 90s, around there.
Oh,
Well, that's 70s or 80s, probably more accurate. Yeah.
I say
Yeah.
fuck. You're looking pretty old,
Exactly.
buddy.
Exactly, he says, and he takes a shot of coffee. You see Sean
Alright,
is
so-
just like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
So, William and Sean are not supposed to be here.
Correct. They're reality deviants, you can say.
So, everything that's happening right now, is it reality trying to correct itself?
Sometimes. I'm what stands between reality locusts, those non-entities that you encountered back there, the policemen or the clergy, as it were, the nun and the priest or whatever. Those are authority figures, they're called. They always show up like they own the place, or like, no matter where country you're in, no matter what kind of situation, they always appear to be the person with the badge, or person with the right papers to get you removed. So nobody questions them, because who questions authority these days, right? Or at any point in time, for that matter. And that's what they do. They would have taken you, he points to William, they would have taken you back to wherever, written you out of this timeline. And you see Sean is like, what about me? You telling me that I wasn't supposed to have survived that fire? Not originally, you didn't. Something happened. You changed things when you went back and you saved those kids, the rest of the orphanage. You're something special, he says, and he points to Sean. He's like, why me? Why is the split coming after me? He's like, I suspected it has something to do with this Frank Gordon situation. He hexed all of you. So now anybody who looks to him or tries to attack him mystically or otherwise, they end up fighting you instead. That's why I said Frank Gordon's been dead several times throughout the decades. Been having a hell of a hard time tracking his ass down and putting him in the ground. And he's like,
So what do we do now?
like, well, one thing we can do is we can try to find this person. Thing is, what happened at the crossroads had a cascading effect, he says. Reality's fractured in different ways now. There are things that are occurring in different places around the country and around the world. And if they aren't resolved, then, well, bad things tend to happen. It's like a domino effect. Like right now, that crossroads effect was just the culmination of this proxy pact, or whatever you want to call it, that Frank enacted who knows how long ago. And has been ongoing for some time. There are things happening that I need to attend to. And I can't be at many places at once. I'm not that powerful. A lot of times I need help. People who can assist in mending reality, as it were. Stopping other cascading effects from taking place. Because the moment this gets out of control and it isn't addressed by the universe or the authority figures or reality locusts or whatever, then other things start to happen. And on it goes. Bill, that you met at the crossroads, he was in such a scenario way back when he first drove through the crossroads. I helped him out a little bit, pointed him in the right direction. Some other people, unfortunate bastards that they were there at the time, and they helped mend reality then. We have to do the same thing now.
What does that mean?
You're the only ones I think that can do it too.
What does that mean for them? Looking over at like William and Sean.
Well, that means you have to keep moving. They can't stop for too long. Otherwise, the authority figures will show up, or Frank Gordon's, he says, pointing to William, or Frank Gordon's enemies show up to kill you. Now it starts to kind of click a little bit why all those people were at the crossroads trying to, like you saw, like, dead police officers and these militia-looking guys with vests, like, all dead. Like, what the fuck was all that about? Oh, right, they also were looking for Frank Gordon. They also had a problem with this guy. And they all ended up shooting each other to death.
Are we supposed to find Frank Gordon?
I think it would be a good idea to do that. I don't think it would be I think it would be a bad idea not to, he says. He's the source of a lot of your problems. I think once we manage to find him, we can potentially break the proxy. That means his control over your lives will be at an end. Proxies are a difficult thing to figure out. Matter of fact, I need you to write all your names down, please. And he rips a page out of his notebook. He takes out his fancy-looking pen. He passes it around for all of you to write down your names. At the top of the page, he writes Frank Gordon's full name as he knows it. Frank, and then his middle name, E-S-E, or S-A, Gordon. And then he asks all of you to write your names down.
All right.
Yeah.
Write my name down.
Eventually, the paper circulates the room, and he starts crossing things out. He's like, huh. He shows you, like, he's drawing lines from different letters of Frank Gordon's name to each one of your names. And the one that matches perfectly is Sean's. Sean Krogan Ford. SeankrogenFord. Your name is an anagram, he says. And he hands it to Sean. He's just like, what?
So, wait. Okay, what's the relation? Is it split?
That's a good question. I need you to bleed for me, he says. And he looks at Sean. And Sean's like, excuse me? Come here, he says. And Sean kind of like looks around the room and...
Do what the man says, Sean.
Whatever. And he's like, let me see your arm or whatever. And he's like, what, you this? And he's like, grabs it and he like just puts his pressure on it and Sean's like, ow, fuck! Rips off the Band-Aid that he had put on the night before, and you see there's some blood there, and he's like, bleed over that. And he points to like a clearing in the floor. Put your blood right there. Okay. Oh, come on, do you have to make me do this? He says, just do it. He's like, fine, okay, shit. And he like takes his buck knife and he like cuts himself a little bit, bleeds on the floor. And he takes the paper that he has the arrangement of letters and lines and stuff. He lights it on fire. He just watches it burn. And as the ashes start to fall away from it, he kind of blows on it a little bit, and you see the embers light up. He drops the remaining piece of paper onto the floor, which then soaks up his blood. And then the thing just dissipates. There's leaving just this smoky aura in the air. Then you see something really weird. The blood that he had spilt on the floor starts rearranging itself. And it forms the name Frank S.A. Gordon. You're Frank's blood, he says. He looks over at Sean. And he's like, how the fuck is that possible? I'm an orphan. And he's like, yeah, of course you are. You had to come from somewhere, though. You're Frank's kin. That's why yours is particularly strong, he says, pointing to him. I guess it's no surprise that you survived the fire back then and survived the recent fire just a few days ago. He probably has the strongest pull on you because you're blood kin. The rest of you, maybe not so much. What about you, he says. And he looks at William. He's like, I'm not bleeding for you. He's like, your name is too different. So it's not that. You all had some connection. I think maybe this Frank Gordon was based out of that orphanage, perhaps. That might be why you're included in this proxy, while they're finding you instead of him, his enemies, that is. You come here, he says to William, and he's like, no. And he's like, come on, I know you're into this shit. Come on, come here. And you see, eventually he's like, Okay, what do you need me to do? I need your blood now. Put it right next to his. Okay. And you see he's like, cuts his hand and he like bleeds out onto the floor a little bit. And he's like, give me something of yours. He asks William, and he's like, okay. He puts it in like a plastic bag. And then he like goes to the faucet and he like turns on the water, puts the thing in the water. And you see like once it gets full, he asks him to bleed onto the water. And then he fogs up like part of the mirror in front of the faucet. And he's like, okay, step back. He uses flames once again. He takes out his lighter. He lights something else on fire, and when it finishes burning up, he asks a question. And then on the mirror, like there is a series of it's like you're writing on the glass on the mirror when it's fogged up, and you see like you see names appear, like little written names, and it's his name, and then it's a bunch of other random people's name, and then there's Frank Gordon's name, and then there's Sean's name. He says. And he's just like, I think you're both related, he says. And he looks to between Sean and William, and that's why you're not supposed to be here. He's like, you inadvertently managed to do Frank Gordon a big solid. And he's like, wait, how am I related? I'm from the 1900s. And he's like, yeah, exactly. I think you're his ancestor. And he looks between William and Sean. And he got pulled into this mess because of the crossroads and what happened at the orphanage 20 years ago. This is a clusterfuck, he says. And they're eventually going to come for you. They're going to take you back there, he says, looking at William. Talking about the authority figures, like, warning him, like, if you don't keep moving, they're going to find you. And they're going to haul your ass back there. And he's like, what happened at the crossroads seemed to have brought them back into your life. After the orphanage, you were safe. But now that this happened, now it's your fair game again. Now they're going to come after you. And he's like, holy crap, so what's going to happen if they take me back? And he's like, I have no idea. I've never been the target of the authority figures. I'm a cosmic repairman, not the cause of disrepairs, as it were. So it sounds like you all are fucked, he says. I think we might need each other right now. This might be the best time to help one another out. I need your help in putting out some cosmic fires. And, well, you're probably going to need my help to keep the bad man away. The bad people, he says.
Can I ask a potentially very confusing question?
Sure.
Why don't you see these two as a cosmic fire?
Well, I don't see them as a problem. You can give me notice or lie, whichever is higher. Did you roll a successful notice?
Yeah, that's a 24 out of 50.
He's leaving something out. You see, Alex has just kind of had it at this point. It's like, okay, I don't know who the hell you are. You say you're like the oldest person in the world or whatever the fuck that means, but everything that has happened since we met you is fucking crazy. And he's like, correction. Everything leading up to this point was fucking crazy. The reason I'm here is because it was that way to begin with. You didn't know me until after the crossroads, remember? Okay, whatever, she says, but it's like, why should we help you do anything. I mean, thank you and everything, I guess, for pulling our ass out of the fire or whatever, so to speak. But why should we be the world's firemen? We're just trying to live our lives. Like, they need help. And she points to, William and Sean, and it's like, what, I didn't do anything wrong. Like, I nothing weird's happened to me. I mean, sure, like my roommate and stuff got, like, my boss and my friend, like, she got fucking murdered. That had nothing to do with me, right? I mean, just the Compton just kind of
look. What's done is done. We're here now. We need to think about what's happening now and what's up ahead. All right?
See, Gus, like, he gets it.
Like
Oh, go ahead.
We're in it now. We need to, like, accept what the hell's happening and just move forward. And now, moving forward, what does that mean? What are we supposed to do now?
Well, one thing at a time, you see, Gus says. We first got to undo this proxy ritual that was done unto all of you, and especially you.
All right, how do we go about doing that, Gus?
That's really hard to do.
Educate us.
Turning the tables on your proxy is very difficult. It would involve acting like them, dressing like them, changing your name to match theirs, and it's more dangerous if you go that way. If you try to increase your control of them rather than their control of you, it gets worse before it gets better. If you want to do the opposite and you want to distance yourself from Frank Gordon and potentially lower your control over him through the same proxy, well, you have to go through some lengths to do that.
Is there a third option?
That's not really. His enemies are gonna keep coming after you because they think you're him.
I think I might have a theory.
All right, go ahead.
Really?
Okay. When we went to the crossroads, we were sent to the orphanage. That's where we got these two, and pointed to Sean and William. Couldn't we also use the crossroads to go back to a time where Frank Gordon was young, take him out then so that he doesn't exist now? So that he couldn't have possibly done anything to us.
He's like, the crossroads isn't a time machine. It's a weird place.
That was my question, right? Can we access it or not access the crossroads? If we can't,
it's a weird place, but it feels pretty timey to me. It feels like a very timey place.
Yes, both events, both fires that took place, one at the crossroads and the other one at the orphanage, were linked through time and through chaos. And he's like, a lot of stuff happened that culminated in that moment that brought you all together, and the explosion caused you to be propelled back through time. Weird shit like that happens sometimes. And this is an exceptional circumstance.
So if we create another fire at the crossroads, it might fling us back in time.
Or it might burn you to death.
That too.
You feel free to test that theory if you like. I'm gonna keep on putting out fires. He's like, I'm gonna keep on putting out fires as best as I can.
All right, so
I'll take any help I can get.
These are our two options. Or we try to be more like him, or try to dissociate ourselves from him.
And you see, for Sean and William, it's like, what does that mean for us if we're blood related? It's like, well, you got the crapshoot. I'm sorry. And he's like, you can start by changing your name legally. That's a small step in the right direction. But you can't change your blood. That's inside you. You're cursed, he says, to both of them. And you see, Alex is like, you're just that's it. Like that's all. Like, my friend is dead. Okay, like she's starting to have like a serious reaction, and you see, Gus kind of sees it coming, and he's like, oh, okay. Kind of puts his cup of coffee down, and he's like, come on, let's hug it out. And she's just like, what? You want me to? No. And he's like, it's okay. All right, it's okay. He very kind of sort of clumsily comes over and try to put his hand on her shoulder, and she's a very private person. So she's like, "No!" And she like pushes him and like starts slapping at him. And the moment anybody tries to move in, you see Gus to kind of hold up his hand and winks. He's like, "Just relax." She pushes him into the table and slaps him across the face and shit. And he's just like, he almost spills the coffee. He's like, "Oh, are you done?" And she keeps yelling at him. She's not done yet. Finally, after she's finished yelling at him, she's like, "I can't take this." And like she goes out the door, like slams the door shut. He straightens out in his chair. What are you gonna do? He says, "He'll be back, I'm sure." And you see William's like, "What's her weird thing?" I mean, she had a whole slasher thing going on, but like everybody had something weird happen to them at the crossroads. What the fuck happened to her? Oh, she got chased by the Dark Stalker. Also, I think she can give avatars away. I don't know. It's weird. I think she's doing it unconsciously, and I think that might have been what happened to her friend. Don't tell her that, though.
What do you mean by give avatars away?
It's just a theory, but everybody around her seems to turn into an avatar. Her friend, you. He looks over at Sean, and he's like, "Me?" He's like, "Good as anybody else, I suppose." That's potentially dangerous. He's like, and Izzy Williams like, "Why are you doing this? I mean, if you're really immortal, like you've lived forever or what have you, like, why do you keep on doing this? I made a promise a long time ago, and I mean, I kind of don't have a choice, really. The universe chose me, so I'm in the crapshoot with you, I guess."
All right, so when the clergy thingy gets to like the maximum number of people and everything resets, you reset with all of your memories of like past lives.
Correct.
What happens to us?
You die, and you're reborn.
And do we
In the
go
new
through
reality.
the same shit every time?
Not every time. Sometimes things are different. Somebody has a Y chromosome or X chromosome.
But fundamentally, are we
early?
we eventually become what we are now? As in, like for me, can I do magic in every iteration of, you know, whenever it's reset, or do I end up being just a normal person?
Depends on the reality that we're talking about. In some cases, you're you, and in some cases, you're not.
That's not confusing.
No.
Yeah,
All right,
tell
so
me
we
about
need
it.
to make a
Jesus.
choice. We need to make a choice. Do we try to become more like Frank Gordon, or do we try to dissociate ourselves from him?
I think that's a weird question to ask. You see Gus say, because you don't want to be like Frank Gordon. Frank Gordon is a sociopath, and he's also an annihilamancer.
All right, so
Destroys things for
dissociation
fun,
it is.
Power.
So dissociation it is.
And he's like, "Yeah, and I can probably help in that regard. I can help break the proxy. It's a great
Help
undertaking,
away.
but I can probably do it. Well, it takes time. That's the problem. And of course, like I said, I can't be in many places at once. I'm going to need your help on a few things, if you don't mind. You do a favor for me, I can do a favor for you."
All right, what do you need?
A lot of things, a whole laundry list full of things. But for right now, I think we should get to New Hampshire. I have a friend there who has a house, so to speak, you can crash at. Might help you. That is, of course, if you're all in, you can take this time to GTFO, as the kids say.
Well, like you say, you don't have a choice when the universe resets. I don't think we have a choice now.
You're kind of right in that regard. I mean, you could always choose. Might be a bad choice in the end, but I've learned if life has taught me nothing else, it's that everybody deserves a choice, whether it's the bad one or the good one.
So Damien's gonna turn to the group and goes like, "Who's up for living?" I am.
Line. Who's got two thumbs and wants to live?
What does living entail?
Not dying.
Yeah.
Good. And I'm glad that you've all made that decision together as a group. He's like, I'm sure you have other questions. He's like, for right now, I want to find out what it is exactly that Frank Gordon is doing, because obviously he didn't go through the painstaking process of creating a proxy that affects all of you for nothing. He's been putting something together for decades, it seems. If he's still alive out there and doing this, and I don't think the proxy would work if he were dead. So he's up to something, and I need to figure out what that is. He used to be associated with a group known as the Sternos. The Sternos were effectively annihilomancers, a cabal of them. And they took the revealing, fire being the revealer of all truths, to the most extreme of views, right? There's still some of them kicking around out there. Frank Gordon's been going by several other aliases. I think the beginnings of what we need to do are there. We need to start with his aliases. Any information that we can get from his previous lives, safety deposit boxes, storage facilities, anything like that that we can dig up and get information about is useful. Any previous known associates, members of Sternos, anything like that, that could be useful to us as well. This is going to take some time, like I said, and we need to keep moving. We can't stay in two places for too long. With that, just think of it like this. That whole proxy that's sitting on the back is a big target for the rest of the universe, for reality. And it's got a ton of mojo attached to it. When that happens, when you're lugging something like that around, it's like a powder keg. And the slightest flame can light the whole fucking thing up and blow you up. That's why you need to keep moving. Or one of the reasons you should keep moving, at least. And he's like, give me a moment, I'm going to make a phone call. He goes outside to go smoke. Eventually, you see Alex is standing there as soon as he opens the door, and she's kind of like calmed down somewhat. Now her makeup's running. She kind of slides in beside him in the doorway and kind of sits down on the on one of the beds, kind of like pouting. And he's like, oh, okay. He goes outside to go smoke, gets on his cell phone, makes a phone call.
Basically, this whole time that we've been listening to this explanation, I've been sitting on my laptop trying to sketch out in like a CAD program the like inner workings that I remember from my dream.
Yeah, impossible combination of cogs and pulley systems and this sort of weird, archaic-looking mechanisms that enabled this ultra-realistic looking version of yourself.
Yeah, I want to actually try to like sketch it out in CAD to be able to show it when he gets back in.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
You hear him out through the thin walls outside. Hey, Marcia, this is Gus. I need a favor from you. You still got that house up in New Hampshire? Yeah, I'm in Jersey. I need some assistance. I have some friends. I have some people I need to help. Yep. All right, see you soon. Hangs up. Comes back in after he finishes his cigarette. What do you got for me, he says.
Interestingly enough, I decided to roll my engineering roll and totally failed it. Like, impossibly failed it with an 89. So, I'm going to be very unhappy, but probably assume that parts of it look correct. But I couldn't remember most of it, or trying to actually sketch it in the computer was not possible. But I'm going to show it to him and be like, I had a weird dream where I saw 3 copies of myself included, 2 others. One was a robot thing, and the insides looked something like this. And the other one was
looks at you
missing
for a
an
second.
eye.
Huh.
Does this mean that we all have splits?
It's a good possibility considering the crossroads and its previous history, yes. I would assume, unless shown otherwise. He's like, you're looking at the sketches that you made in AutoCAD, he's like, that looks like mechanomancy.
All right, so how many Mancies are there?
Many. Why?
Because that's interesting to me.
Oh yeah.
Actually, you know what? Damien's gonna get his hand on a notebook.
Is there a handbook for this shit?
Yeah, and he's
No.
gonna actually. That's the thing, right? Damien's gonna start getting a notebook, and he's gonna start asking Gus like, "What Minimancy are there?" I'm gonna start writing them down and what they can do as well. So he's gonna try to make a compendium of all the different shit people can do.
He looks at Jesse at some point when you ask that question, like, is there a book on any of this stuff? It's like, there were several, in fact, and then, the Inquisition happened. And what was your question? He says, looks over to you, Damien, and he's like, oh, Epiteromancy, you want me to go in alphabetical order?
Well, not right now, but as things progress, usually during travel time, I'm going to be asking a shit ton of questions, just writing everything down.
Yeah, you've heard so far mechanomancy, epiteromancy, and then yours, of course, the anthropomancy.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, there's a lot of them are lost to time, and some of them are still kicking around out there.
What about
Sleepers
Lucius?
don't like it, not a bit. What about Lucius? He says, the bartender, right?
Yeah, but it seems every crazy conspiracy idea he's had has turned out to be true. I mean,
Because they
PepsiCo.
are true.
Hey, you're right about that.
I don't know any conspiracy theorist who has this good of a track record.
Yeah. Like, what kind of mancy is that?
But it doesn't sound like any magic I've come across, and I've been around for a while.
It's not magic. I know
What
the
is it?
truth.
All right, so if you know the truth, how do we deal with all of this?
I'll get back to you on that one.
Yes, about that. Yeah. He's like, well, I set something up with a friend of mine who's in New Hampshire. They have a place you can crash at for the meantime. It'll give you some time to heal up and to rest up until we get ready to act. I already know what I'm gonna need from you first, so I'll set things up and then send you on your way. I'm gonna be elsewhere taking care of this proxy problem of yours. Any other questions? He says. He looks over the group of you. You see Alex is like looking at the floor, and William is just like, I've got so many questions. And Sean's just like, when am I gonna get my son back? And Gus is like, oh right, that's your thing too, right? He kind of absently thinks, oh yeah. I think the prevailing theory here is that your split took them. In which case we need to find your split. Doing so mystically is a fool's errand, especially considering the current circumstances with your proxy. He's gonna have to find us, or we're gonna have to find him, one way or the other. They're keeping him alive, I think, for a reason. And he looks at Sean pointedly.
If the authority figures are running after Sean and William, wouldn't it be fair to say they might be running after his kid as well? He's not supposed to be here either.
But he is his blood, which means he could be used as part of the proxy.
Oh, okay.
Could be used as leverage. And you see, he's like, he killed my ex-wife. And he's like, you sure it was him? He's like, who else could it be? You didn't kill your wife, did you? No! Alright, I'll take your word for it. I didn't kill my wife, and I didn't kidnap my son. All of this happened by accident. I don't know why it happened. It just happened. You see Gus just kind of looks and nods. Okay. He's like, all right, kiddos, let's pack up the car. We got a road trip to New Hampshire. It's gonna be a couple hours. Any objections, or anybody want to do anything before you leave the hotel?
Nope.
Okay. It's gonna take the majority of the day driving very, very quickly on the highway for you to get into New Hampshire. So he drives you through the drives you in the highway well into the evening until finally let's say that's going to take at least a day or so. Let me just check the map here. I don't know how long that is from New Jersey. Jersey to New Hampshire.
Oh, that's like 4 hours, 5 hours.
Is it? Oh, okay. So it's just like the rest of the afternoon. So by nightfall, you're probably going to get there. Okay. So when driving on the highway, you managed to get there at night. What does this place look like? It looks like an abandoned office building, is what it looks like. And you're all like, is this where we're going?
There's a lot of those in New Hampshire.
Is there? Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose. He's like, just walk with me. There's more to it than that, he says, and he walks through the front doors. You have to go through like construction tape and stuff like that, and it's like musty interiors, dusty in here. And it takes you up these like, there's no carpeting or anything here. It's the whole building's been gutted and bored out. And he goes up a series of stairways that go up concrete stairs through the fire exits or whatever. He takes you up and he goes into this floor that is completely wrapped in plastic, like it's under construction, And you see there's a single door frame that is intact. It doesn't open into a room or anything. It's just sort of there in the middle of the room. And standing adjacent to it is this Asian woman, dark hair, sort of unseemly. She has like little glasses on and like a jacket. It's autumn in New Hampshire, so it's brisk out. Gus walks in with his windbreaker and he's like, oh, Marcia, good to see you. Gus, hi. These your... He's like, yep, that's them. You need to show them the ropes a little bit. Oh, right. More reality wackiness? And he's like, yep, you know it. All right, we're going to go to the house, she says. It's going to be a little scary at first, okay? But just follow me. Everything's going to be fine. Whatever you do, don't go into a random room. Follow me only. Don't go through a doorway unless it's with me. Understood?
All
So it's
right.
all of you individually.
All right.
Thank you. She seems to be holding, like she has a backpack on her back and she has like a purse. And she's like, right this way. She opens the door that leads to nowhere. And therein you see, just think the mansion from the movie whose name I'm blanking on. The hotel, sorry. The oh gosh. The famous Jack yes, from The Shining.
Yeah,
Yes, excellent. You get a point. So that imagine that hotel, like the
Oh, wow.
carpeting and like the the paintings on the walls and like the different rooms on either side.
And
It's
the
like
doors.
Mm-hmm. And you're all like, "What the fuck is that?" Do any of you have rank 4 or higher? Actually, it's a low rank, but it's like do you have at least rank 2 or 3 unnatural for all of you? I want to say by now you probably have it, but I just want to
I've got rank 3.
Oh, you're fine. Yeah.
I got rank 4.
Whew. You've been attacked by magic, so that makes sense. What about you, Jesse?
I had 3.
You're all good.
Yep.
You see, Alex is just kind of like dumbfounded for a little bit, but she's like, "It's okay, sweetheart. It's good. We're gonna be okay. Let me hold the door open for you." She says. She has a gloved hand. She kind of puts her hand on the door and holds it open for you, and one by one you start walking through. Gus is like, "It's all right. It's safe. We've been here a million times."
Where
take
are
anything you want to take with you to the house, she says.
Where are we?
I'll explain once we're inside.
Okay.
And you see Gus is like, he puts his arm around you for a second uncharacteristically. He's like, you ever, you grew up Catholic?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Nope. Well, yes and no.
You remember that saying that Jesus of Nazareth says, "Inside my Father's house there are many mansions"? He kind of looks through the doorway.
Huh.
You're getting the idea, he says.
All right.
It helps to walk you into the house, as it were.
All right, just walk through.
You emerge on the other side of this doorway, and you see Marcia is like, straight down the hallway, last door on the right, okay? Please don't get lost. And she's like, making sure everybody goes through, and then she goes and closes the door behind her. And what you see is the other side of the door is completely different from the one that she just opened on the other side of reality. And when you step through, you're in this place. It feels like another world almost. Like it's almost like that dizzying feeling when you're climbing in an airplane and like the pressure drops a little bit and like you have to get acclimated to it. That's kind of what it feels like when you step through that threshold. You're in this completely different interior now.
Can you classify this, Gus, as a natural phenomena, some sort of Mancy, or something else?
Natural occurring phenomena, he says. The House of Renunciation, he says.
What's that?
It's a whole thing. You see, Marcia's like, follow
This
me,
door?
please. And like
This
she
door?
walks out.
I'll be in the front,
Yeah.
like going to the exact door. This one?
Yeah.
Okay. No, it's this one over here, she points. Do any of you, like, go a different route? Because there's different, like, hallways that lead out from this juncture that you're nearing. I don't know if any of you are naturally curious, like, oh, what's in this room? I want to take a peek. Or...
I'm following her. Like she said,
Okay.
not to fuck up. So
Lucius
not
would.
gonna fuck up.
Lucius would be peeking indoors.
Someone keep an eye on Lucius.
Ooh. Roll secrecy.
Secrets.
Oh my god, I rolled a match failure for this person. Oh my god.
Oh.
Someone's not doing their job today.
Drum roll, and that is a success.
A success. Oh wow. Let's see what you got. It matters. Oh, you actually rolled higher than the other successful roll. Well done. So you actually evaded even Gus's watch. Like as he's like scanning the group, he goes up ahead with this guy with his arm around his shoulders, and there's some sort of conversation going on. Like, why are you doing? It's like, why don't you just tell us everything? You hear somebody ask him, and he's like, because the last time I did that, somebody called Frank Gordon came into existence.
Oh.
A whole lot of people died, just for starters. You see, eventually, he walks you down the hallway, and then, Lucius, you find a door along the hallway to just kind of open and take a peek into.
Little crack the door.
What's on your mind as you're doing so? What's going on in Lucius's head?
Hmm.
Is it a
Lucius? Lucius is just thinking of a tunnel. No. Lucius
Isolation.
is trying to think. He's on this path of, okay, so apparently the people manipulating the government don't matter. What does matter then? What does matter? What's the good question? It's thinking very
Oh.
abstractly right now.
So you're thinking that nothing really matters? Is that kind of like the idea that he has in his mind?
More of like a nothing really matters? Like, is that
Excellent.
true? Yeah.
You open the door, and beyond is a cluttered room. It's just really interesting to look at. As soon as your eyes glimpse the walls, there are old propaganda posters on the wall there, and like there's tons of knickknacks and things like that you could just lose yourself in here, just rummaging through it all. Like, oh shit! Like when you're looking at it, you see like there's even a cork board, like the type that you had at the bar, and there's like all sorts of connections, and you think there's a picture there of like JFK or something like that. And there's all sorts of like you when you look inside this room, it's like the cornucopia of conspiracy theories. Like there's all sorts of like, and there's even a TV on in the corner, and it's blaring some sort of like documentary that you've been hearing about, but you haven't gotten quite an opportunity to sit down and listen to. In the background, there's a radio playing, or actually, what's on the TV in between the documentary is some interview with the radio host that you had listened to back at the bar, the one that you made an agreement to, like, oh, I want to appear on your show or whatever you never got to do. You actually hear that interview, and your voice is playing over top of theirs.
I think Lucius is going to step in to this room.
Oh, man. So, full disclosure, I rolled a 99, which is a match failure for one of the two major NPCs to notice that you're slipping off. And the other one rolled a success, but rolled underneath your success. So you rolled closer to your skill than they did, which means you got the better of the two successes. So they notice you're gone, but only a little too late. So you kind of slip away from the rest of the group, and you go inside the room, door shuts behind you. When you look behind you, the door's gone.
Ah.
You see, Gus notices that Lucius is gone. He's like, "Where'd Lucius go?" And you see Marsha stops as she opens the door.
Wait, this
and
door?
like, where? And you see like Gus is like, "Where did he?"
No, I
where
was
did he go
pointing
to
at the door I thought we were supposed to go to, and asking her, right?
Knowing Lucius, he probably went into a door.
Oh fuck! You see Marsha like, "Get in that room right now," and she tells everybody, "Go inside that room."
I get into the room
and
she
shut
tells
the
me
door.
to get into.
And you see Gus is like, "What are you doing?" And it's like, "I'm gonna have to go door by door in this hallway and find out where the fuck your friend is at." And you see he's like, "What sort of rooms do you have here?"
Oh,
he's like,
just
"It's
before
the
she
house,
closed the door,
Gus."
if I hear her say that, I'll be like, he's a conspiracy nut.
Oh God, he might be in the room of rusted things, she says. And you see Gus is like, "Oh, well, how much do you like your friend?" And you see Alex like, "What are you talking about? Where's Lucius?" And she see Marsha's like, "Just calm down, everybody. Just stay
If it
put
weren't for
right
him,
now."
we wouldn't be
Don't-
the Snake Pit crew. We need Lucius.
He's like, "Stay put. I'm gonna check each one of these doors until I find your friend. Okay, it's gonna be fine. I'm gonna get him back for you. All right, Gus, I need you to babysit." And he's like, "I don't have time to babysit. I need to go." He's like, "I understand, but I need to do my job here, and I'm kind of fucking it up right now."
Just go, Gus.
He checks his watch, and he's like, Go on. I'll watch the kids." He goes and walks into the room with you, and he's like, "All right, have a seat. We're gonna have a chat while she goes and fetches your friend." She frantically is moving through the hallway, just like checking the doors. "Lucius, you're stuck in this room. You're going through stuff, and like you're finding all sorts of weird, interesting stuff about conspiracy theories here. But for whatever reason, every time you listen into the program on the TV, or you watch the documentary, or you read the actual unredacted reports from Deep Throat or whatever it is, like stashed in the corner, the big pile of papers next to the Pentagon papers, like even though you go through all of that stuff, you're just sort of like, Like you're just kind of looking at the old faded posters on the wall, the old propaganda folders, and you're just like, what does any of this even matter anymore? You remember what the question you posed to the Compta was previously to Gus, like who really controls the government? He's like, who cares? You're asking all the wrong questions. You know, learn to ask better questions. He told you, and you're like, yeah, learn to ask better questions. Like, what is the point of any of this? Like, is there really anything to it? And you're just like, you're just stuck in this room. You can't leave, and you're just like, you don't know how long you've been in here, but eventually you start getting tired. There's a little cotton corner. When you get tired of going through all those periodicals and stuff, you kind of lay down and take a rest or whatever. When you wake back up, some of the stuff isn't there anymore. You look around, you're like, I thought it was over here. You look behind, you're like, where did that thing go? Where'd that tape go? And like you're looking behind stuff, you rummage through the whole room, nothing. And time goes on. You don't feel tired, you don't feel hungry, you don't feel thirsty. You're just tired, you get bored, you get tired. You eventually kind of put stuff down. You feel yourself moving farther and farther away from this idea that you had about, you know, trying to find the truth of things. When I get to the heart of things, like what does that mean exactly? What does it even matter? The next day goes by and more things are missing. And then the ground disappears, as well as the ceiling. And revealed underneath is emptiness, total blackness. There's nothing there. And somehow you're still here, just floating here in the nothing. An unmeasurable amount of time goes by. And your fingers start to disappear. It still work, but the little joints in between the fingers, they start disappearing. Until you're just there in the middle of the void. And then your eyeballs disappear. And all there is black. There's nothing here anymore. But you're still here. Or some part of you is still here. And then the door opens. And you hear, oh my god, what the fuck are you doing in here? Get the fuck out of there right now. You feel some sort of tugging going on. And you reemerge on the other side of the door. And Marsha's looking down at you like, you stupid son of a bitch. You get up out of the floor, get up. Like she's like, shuts the door. Do you know what happens to people that go in there? Do you? Go down to the last door on the right and do not turn around. Do not look anywhere else or I'll fucking hurt you.
Do I have my eyes back?
You do.
Okay,
you feel
good.
different inside. You're not the same person anymore. And that's where we'll go to break. Come back. We'll find out who you really are now.
All right.
Back in 10 minutes.
That's about :40 for those y'all paying attention.
And we're back. And we're just about to find out what happened to Lucius in the Room of Rusted Things. So what's interesting about the Room of Rusted Things, Key, is that it basically forces your character to change. That's what the house of and all the rooms inside of the House of Renunciation do. Well, a lot of times they don't force you to change. They give you all the options to change, and if you do or you don't, it's up to you. A lot of times, but sometimes most people take the change. For some people, and this is what Marcia goes on to explain about the House of Renunciation to all of you. Once she drags you back into the room that you're supposed to be in, which looks like somebody's college dorm room or something like that, you know. There's an old Obama poster in the background somewhere, and there's like piles of stuff. There's like ashtrays with half a dozen butts in them and stuff, and you know, shit like that. She kind of explains what the house is and what it does. Sometimes the universe doesn't care about you. It's not good or evil. It's sort of indifferent in the cosmic scheme of things. When sometimes the universe needs a person to change or to become different in order for things to go a certain way. It doesn't go for the really obvious people. Like, it's not going to the house is not going to attract people like Gandhi or Adolf Hitler on either side. No, it goes for the really mundane ones, like the abused housewife who feels like she's trapped in this abusive relationship that she can't escape from. Those are the people that the house attracts. And once they're inside, they're shown a glimpse sometimes, depending on the room that they're in, of what their lives might be like, or of the people that they're hurting by not taking action. You know, it's kind of like the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future, but in the manifestation of a room, this extra dimensional space. Sometimes it exists without time, and it just like the room that you were in, where you're just sort of floating there for who knows how long until you've consciously made the decision to be a different person. And then when you reemerge, you're sort of the inverse of what you were before. So violent people come out pacifists and vice versa. So this is an opportunity for your character to change should you want them to. In which case, you can actually rewrite your passions and your obsession to whatever you like. Assuming, of course, that it ties into the inverse of what your character was about before. So, for instance, somebody who's really passionate about the truth, like uncovering dirty scandals or something like that, comes out of the room of renunciation like, fuck everything. I'm lying through their teeth for everything, you know?
Oh.
Somebody who goes in not caring about anything, suddenly comes out caring about everything and everybody. You kind of get the gist of it, right? And that's what you were presented with. You saw what happens when you do nothing. You saw what this idea of nothing matters. You saw nothing, and you never want to see it again. The entire time that Lily was grabbing you, like kicking and screaming down the hallway, the rest of you spent some time with Gus, or the Comte, as you will, inside this room of Marcia's. He kind of tells you, like, Marcia's an old friend of his. He knew her mother when she was alive. She, too, was an agent of the house, he calls it. An agent of the House of Renunciation. And at times, the room would send them out to find people to bring in and to change. Each agent is given a room, and each room has a sort of theme to it. He kind of offhandedly recounts certain rooms to you, like, oh, there's the garden, you know, where there's man, there's woman, and then there's the father. And inside the garden, a lot of people who used to be all about technology and information and all this other stuff come out complete brutes, you know. And the room has the rooms of the house have that sort of effect on people when they go in. They're not the same when they come back out. And he kind of gives you the general gist of it. Somebody presses him though on why he's doing this. You recall that Gus kind of offhandedly made the comment like, "Oh, why are you this reality cop? Why do you continue to do this still?" And he's like, "Well, I promised somebody something a while back." And this is when William and Sean kind of conspire with one another, like, well, elaborate on that. Why are you? You could do anything. You can't be harmed. You live forever. You've seen every iteration of reality. Like, why don't you just, I don't know, go kick off in a beach somewhere and watch the world burn or whatever? If especially at your age, if what you're saying is true, and the world is going to end as soon as you age, as you get older, like, why do you keep doing this? And he's like, wow. Well, I guess we have some time for a story. He looks at his watch. Once a long time ago, I was in Rio. I was living next to this annoying family. Annoying because the guy kept beating his wife. It didn't happen all the time, but it happened enough to be a cycle. He was a smart guy, too, doctor. But he brought his work home sometimes, and sometimes it was too much. Seen that before 1,000 times. Still, it irritated me when I was working on a sonnet, and I'd hear him abusing his family again. They annoyed me. So I told him, stop beating your wife. Casually, in the elevator. But he kept on. So I told the wife, hey, you don't have to keep doing this. You can get out. She pretended she didn't know what I was talking about, Made excuses about how God teaches us to forgive, blah, blah, blah. Heard that before. Too many times. So one day I let myself into their place while it was happening. I picked up a fireplace poker. He saw me. He tells me to fuck off. He comes at me like I've done so many times. I just hit him with the blunt side of the poker. Too hard, perhaps, because he crumbled to the ground and he stopped breathing. So I dropped the poker. His teenage daughter in the corner, bruised and wailing, she's fumbling for the phone. His wife flipped the switch and she flew at me with a kitchen knife. I sidestepped, redirected her. Dumb luck. The knife went right into her heart. The daughter's shrieking then, frantically. She's trying to dial for help. This next part I really didn't like. But I picked up the poker and killed her too. I got out of there before the cops could link me to the scene. First time in a long, long time I felt troubled. Like I didn't know what to do next. I didn't know the answers to anything anymore. So I did a short ritual. I dropped a snake and some origami into a brown bag and I lit it on fire. I breathed in the green fog that came out, and now I knew who the wisest person within 200 kilometers was. I ended up with a nun in a church nearby. I told her the whole story, including how I'm the oldest man in the world, all of that. After bawling her eyes out over what I did and going back and forth with me about philosophy, I asked her what I should do. And what she told me, I'll never forget what she told me. She said, "Stop beating your wife." I hadn't laughed that hard in a long time. So I said, fine, I'll try to be more merciful from now on. Every once in a while, I sent someone her way with a tithe, currency from wherever I was at the time. I never saw her again, but her message stuck with me, you know? I've been trying to be good. Some days I can do it, other times I can't. So this is me now, trying to be merciful, trying to be good. This is what I'm doing right now, right here with you. I'm trying not to beat my wife anymore. See, Marcia comes in just then with Lucius towards the tail end of the story. And she's like, okay, no more wandering off. Agreed? And she looks around the room and to Lucius, now you sit down over there. As young as she is, she has like a motherly feel to her with everything. And she's like, she's going to take care of you or whatever. And she goes to like the corner where there's like a little nook and she has some supplies. This is her living quarters, presumably. And she kind of goes through the refrigerator and like pulls out some drinks, makes coffee, you know, the whole 9 yards, clears a space on a dinner table and invites you all to take a seat. And it's like, you have wounded? And you see Gus is like, oh yeah, this one got shot, points to Lucius, and then points to Damien, this one fixed it. That one got stabbed or something, points to Alex. And then points back to Damien again, and that one fixed it. And you see, she's just like, well, it sounds like you're really important. She says, looking at Damien, you may want to protect yourself from now on.
Yeah.
Let's see. 1 second.
Wait, you fixed something?
He was pointing to you specific. Yeah, this kind of takes you aback a little bit. You're like,
yeah, because I didn't notice any of that or have to make any rolls for that.
Oh yeah,
precisely. Yeah, you didn't know about that, so it's kind of
you're able to heal
surprise
people
to you.
Kinda.
I'll take it.
Did you always know to do that? You see, William asks, like, you know magic, and you didn't tell us?
Everything kind of happened after the crossroads. I've been kind of dealing with that stuff internally too, like what the hell's happening. But apparently, yeah, I can manipulate stuff.
And you see Gus leans into Marshall. Tropomancer, body bag. He points over to Damien. She's like, oh, okay. Chaos.
I like the
magic,
body
okay.
bag reference.
Yeah. Yeah, and she kind of explains to those of you who in character don't know what they're talking about. It's like, chaos mages basically risk their lives and other people's to get power. They risk them with harm, physical or otherwise, and they get power from that. And they can use that to, yes, and they can affect probability a lot of time. Very dangerous. And she's like, well, have a seat. As we've explained, this is the House of Renunciation. It's not really a place that you go to crash at normally, but I understand these are extenuating circumstances. You're free to stay here for the next couple of days and get rested. And then when you're done, I can take you back. One of the nice things of being an agent of the house is I can open any door and go wherever I need to go.
Is one of these doors a laboratory?
She looks around her little apartment. She's like, not really. The bathroom's over there. It's a walk-in closet that way.
In the hallway.
Oh, does it go to a laboratory? She's like, I've not heard of any laboratory. I mean, maybe. A lot of times these rooms change. It just depends on the room and who's entering into them. Sometimes people see what they need to see. You know what I mean?
Where is that door?
They're all the rooms are kind of like that. They're just different in different ways.
I go to head back to the hallway.
whoa! Well, be careful. You can end up trapped in there. Like, are you okay? Are you all right?
There's something I need. Oh.
Oh shit! How long were you in there? Do you recall? Did you keep track?
I lost count.
Oh no! She says, "Oh, I'm really
just
sorry
staring
about
at my
your
fingers.
friend, okay? Like... Yeah, they're there. I'm really sorry about your friend. I think they got trapped in the room of rusted things for some time. When you go into those rooms, you can come out different. Most people do, anyway. Only really stubborn ones don't come out different. And they usually regret that at some point. But that's what the house is all about. It's all about, and she points to the poster in the corner, it's about change. It's changing yourself. Willingly.
Right. I head back into the hallway unless she stops me at this point.
Oh, she does not want you wandering around. So she's like, whoa, where do you want to go exactly? Like, are you sure you want to do this?
Look, we all have been mixed up in something crazy, and there's something hidden in my mind that I need to know. One of these doors will have the answer.
What's this question that you have?
I'll pull up my terrible rendering of it. The mechanomancy,
Oh, you don't want to get involved with mechanomancers, she says. They lose their memories to power their magic.
I feel like I'm already there. This was me in my own dream.
You dreamt about mechanomancy?
I was both a automaton and I guess practitioner. And I walked
you didn't
in.
Tell me that about the dream, you see Gus says. You just showed me a 3D thing and told me you dreamt about it.
Anyway.
And he's like, huh. Come here, he says.
I'll head over there. Are you going to want me to bleed?
Yes.
Oh, all right. I look around for a clean instrument with which to stab myself. Or prick,
okay.
You know.
There's like a letter opener on the table, and before you grab it and do it, do it. You
torch
see
it real
Marcia
quick.
holds your hand. She's like, "Are you sure you want to do this, Gus? What are we doing right now?" And you see Gus is like, "Oh, let's see what happens." Kid's curious. Let him sate his curiosity, I say.
I'll prick my finger and like put it wherever he wants me to.
You don't bleed. Roll a self check.
Too many windows open. That one. That's the one. That has the character sheet. Self. That's knowledge, yay? Yeah.
I believe so.
Oh.
Oh, you rolled 100.
Oh, lovely.
Well, what kind of existential crisis would you like to have today, Jesse? We have many on display.
All right. What's on the menu?
Well, okay, so you don't bleed. That's not normal. Or maybe you do. Something's got to give here. I mean, maybe you didn't hit the right place on your finger. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the good nurse, you need to get in there and really get to closer to a vein, perhaps, to get the blood flowing, so to speak. Where else would you like to apply the letter opener to?
The next most likely place to find a hydraulic cable, if I am what I think I am at the moment, with considering my 100 on a self check.
Trigger warning for the audience.
Yeah.
So you take it to, you sit down and you're just like, that's not right. And you just like, you keep like prying into your leg, like looking for stuff, and there's no blood. There's plenty of other stuff. There's no blood there. And you get your first failed notch in self.
Do we
You
see
also
that?
get something back. Oh yeah, you all do.
Oh, do I get a notch in self as well, or is it a failure?
Yeah. No, because you just discovered something about yourself. Right. So now we get into some other interesting parts about you.
So
you get this is important for the mental side of it, because everybody who's like you starts off a little bit different than everybody else.
Are you gonna give me the powertrain?
Not really. No,
right.
It's just I just need to give you the stuff that you need to know for right now, which is I think you start with 2 hardened automatically, with self, helplessness, and unnatural. I'll get back to you later if I find that it's counteractive with.
So does that add to those?
No, it just means you have 2 hardened notches in all 3 of those categories.
Wait, it's only crazy when we get to 25, right? All right, I got a while to go.
Yeah, you got a while still to go. But yeah, you just realize like, oh, I'm not human. Not completely anyway. Shit. The rest of you see this and go, wow, that's disturbing.
I made a copy of myself, I'll say. I must have chosen to forget in order to pull it off.
Unless you're not the creator, but merely the construct. That's another question you might want to ask yourself.
What's creator? What's construct?
You see, Gus is not surprised, but you see, Marcia's like, oh my goodness.
This is actually the first time I've been injured the whole game, so it makes sense.
Yeah, precisely. Let's see. Unnatural.
Finding out your best friend's an automata.
Precisely.
What rating unnatural check is that?
Here we go. Realize the reason you and your husband is that he's not really a human being. That's a little bit high, but I would say probably a loved one is dead, or something different. Maybe this would be like a rank. I want to say 8, just because of the personalness of the nature, right? Like this is your childhood friend, and you find out that he's not real. He's basically Pinocchio. Anybody who has 3 or less on natural, go ahead and roll that now.
3 or less.
All right.
So I'm immune.
You roll on the
unnatural.
yeah. You roll the notice. You roll the upbeat of whatever it is. We are just on fire with these dice today. We are on fire with the dice today.
Damien, this doesn't seem right. This isn't
I've
right.
got a
What?
bunch of re-rolls. Can I re-roll?
Yes, you can. Yes, you absolutely can.
I got like 8 re-rolls available.
Oh, I should have put a place to mark down our boosts
Yeah. So,
Yes, don't
okay,
forget
I'm
about
gonna-
your boosts. Very important.
on the character sheet.
Oh my god, no.
It's just as bad. It picked the other 2 numbers that don't help you at all.
So
How
this
many
week
can I
has
re-roll?
just been. You can re-roll once per roll. So, like, if you blew the roll, you can re-roll. But if you roll
All
bad
right.
again the second time, you keep it.
All right, so that means it turns into a failure, right? Failure not.
Whew. Yeah, failure not unnatural. You're just like, what? Your friend is not really your friend. What are they? And now you're
So
having to like have this moment like, no, there's got to be blood in here somewhere. And then eventually Marsha's hand comes over yours and she's like, stop. And she very calmly, very gently takes the letter opener away from you. And she's like, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. And you see Gus is like, And Marsha looks over to him. It's like, did you know? Are you fucking with us right now? And you see Gus is like, maybe I'm not. You know, he's kind of smoking a cigarette in the corner of the room, just not saying anything.
Oh
He's
man,
I asked him
Sphinx.
for a cigarette.
man.
He gives you
man,
one.
Man,
You know, I never smoked when I thought I had lungs.
man.
You're free.
man.
Smoke him if you got him. He says.
Are you all right,
I
Damien?
need a drink. I need a drink. I need a fucking drink.
Oh, right over there. He's
Lucius reaches into his pocket and pulls out a flask and hands it over.
Yeah, the flask goes around the room because everybody's just kind of like, this week has been stupefying for everyone.
Can I turn this into a therapeutic moment? Use it for
right.
That's what I was thinking about too.
Yeah.
Mm.
Go ahead.
I have a couple of unnaturals that I could try to... How does
How
that
would
work?
you want to turn this? Yeah, that's a good question, actually. How would you do that?
Take a flip over. Yeah, it's a roll of my bartending skill as I try and bury the fact that everything in my reality has just changed and just put on a smiling face for everyone. Try and be the rock.
Wow. Okay, make a roll. Don't fumble or match failure, and I think you should be okay.
Match failure.
Now you jinxed it.
Similarly, if you get a match
jinxed it.
success. Oh no, what did you get?
I can't flip it.
83?
Uh,
Ooh. I mean, if it fits your obsession or any of your passions, you can use the flip, sure. Or you can use a boost.
But flipping it doesn't even... But yeah, you have a boost
It
for a
would.
reroll. You got one earlier this session. They haven't used.
I know I used my noble
Mm.
passion to flip once per
Yes.
session, but I can reroll at any time with that. Okay. Got my new noble passion. Shielding those unable to handle the truth. So
Nice.
Excellent.
a good old
So you turn it
reroll.
into a 38. That'll do. Well,
No. Just gotta do that good old reroll 36. It doesn't
there
help.
you go.
Still
Oh
doesn't help.
shit. Oh,
2
no.
points away.
Well,
Yeah,
I'll give
I'm
you
not helpful.
I'll give you a success with what do you call it? At a cost,
Shift.
I guess.
A shift of some
Sure.
sort.
Yeah, I'll give you a temporary success. Who do you want to target with this? Because you can't address the whole group. It's not.
yeah.
It's too chaotic in here. You
Targeting-
could focus on one individual.
Focusing on Damien specifically with this. It's like, yeah, it's gonna be okay. But just like completely deadpan.
Hey,
Everything's gonna be fine. Well,
You can erase.
Don't worry.
Oh, wow, you got a success. So you can erase that, and you can change it into a hardened notch instead.
So I can change the failure notch from unnatural
Yep.
and
'Cause you
put
got
it into
immediate
a hard notch.
assistance. Yeah. So you basically you would erase your hardened notch that you just got in unnatural, and then you could change it to a hardened notch instead.
Yep. Okay. All right.
Because
so now
and only
notice
because
damage
he did immediate assistance. If he had waited like much later to do something like that, it would have come at a much lesser effect. But because he addressed it right then and there, he kind of flipped it back around. What do you say to him to kind of like convince him to just kind of like, oh no, yeah, I got it.
He's
Stop.
flipping an unnatural, right?
Yeah, he's turning a
Or-
failed notch into a hardened notch for Damien's unnatural stress.
Right.
This is concerning, Jesse being revealed as a automata of some sort.
Look, he's not any less our friend. I mean, yeah, sure, he might not have flesh, but
Alex agrees with
he's
you.
still been here.
There's
yeah.
definitely flesh. I'll poke.
Is there flesh? Oh, neat.
It's under the flesh.
So, fun fact: no flesh-based magic can affect you. So that Epiteromancer, if you come across somebody like that again, they ain't got shit on you.
Mm-hmm.
You're also kind of curious what that means in terms of like, well, if I'm a machine, like, do bullets hurt me the same way it does others? Maybe not, you know?
Yeah, I'm assuming that I
Question starts running through your head.
have to teach one of you how to be an engineer in case I get injured.
I mean, you can work on yourself, knowing what you know now.
Yeah, assuming that my arms don't get chopped off.
Assuming so, yes.
Though maybe I could put. Wait, can I detach my? I tried to take my arm off. Does it come
It
off?
doesn't. I mean, it probably does if you take it enough time.
Oh yeah.
to take it
No,
off.
no. I'm just like, is there like a latch?
Attach
No, no. It's not
Nothing so
removable.
simple.
It's not
Because
removable.
to look at you normally, like without any clothes on, you're perfectly human. You know,
Mhm.
like there's nothing abnormal about anything. And it's not until you start like finding the seams or anything like that, and then you remember, like, yeah, I'm a pilot, I'm an engineer, like, and then you realize all those times that you quote unquote went on autopilot. You just wake up and you keep doing the same thing over and over again, day in, day out, and you don't even remember how long you've been doing it, and you're like, is this a symptom or is this
Mhm.
like part of the whole thing? You have so many questions. And you see, Gus is like, well, story time is over, and I'm running out of lucky strikes already. He's like, I got some business to tend towards. With regards to this proxy ritual, and he kind of explains that to Morgan. He gives him he gives her the shortened versions. Like basically, somebody put a whammy on them. They got a big target on their back. I gotta get the proxy off, otherwise they're gonna keep finding them instead of the one guy. And he's like, anybody know? You ever heard of Frank Gordon? She's like, nope. Like, oh well, yeah, the room doesn't want him for some reason, but we do. We need to get our hands on him and end this thing soon, because the longer they keep lugging this thing around with them, the more problems we're gonna keep having. And she's like, I understand. All right, you boys and girls, play nice. I'll be making contact with you. I'll find you, believe me, in the next couple weeks. I'm gonna have you do something for me though. Unless you need help with something, Marsha. She's like, I got a couple things I need to handle on over here, but I'll let you know if I need help. And he's like, all right, fine, fair enough. Here's what I'm gonna need you to do at some point, though. I'm gonna need you guys to drive to a place called Fernwood. There's some fucked up shit going on over there, and I need you to investigate it. Once we figure that out, and we can move on to some other bigger, better fish, and I'll be able to whip up. It'll give me time to sit down and work something out to reduce the power Frank Gordon has over all of you. I think once we manage to do that, we can finally start going after him again. In which case, we might be able to get a leverage on him instead of the other way around. He looks to Sean when he says that. And who knows? By that, we might be able to find your son Jackson after all. And he's like, for right now, do what she says. If she needs help, offer it to her. I'll see you in a couple weeks. He tosses the keys back to you, Jesse. I'll be in touch, he says, and kind of leaves. Unless you want to ask him something else, or before he leaves, he exits the room. Almost like he's been there before, like he knows his way around. Doesn't need Marcia to leave. Well, this was a very exciting time. I hope all of you are comfortable here. We're going to be spending a couple days here at least until we get everybody back up to full health, and then we can. I'll lead you out of the room, take you where you need to go. Gus left me some things for you. She like ruffles through a bag full of stuff. In one of the things she pulls out is like what is referred to as a cabbage roll. It's a thick wad of money with a rubber band on it. Like us spending money. Like couple thousand in there, I think. Assorted bills.
If I were to send
I'll
you
get something for you.
some Cash App cash, could you withdraw it?
Oh, you're talking about using like a cash app?
Like, I was gonna ask her because like we probably shouldn't leave here. I'm assuming being here is somehow shielding us from the proxy effects at the moment. Is my guess.
Yes.
And that
nobody can find
we shouldn't leave. So I'm asking if they could, get some even more cash if I were to send some to them.
Yeah, actually, she says, this is just Gus's spending money. I have this, and she pulls out a wallet.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a small leather-bound thing, like this big. And she hands it to any one of you that wants to basically hold the money for the group.
Sure.
Who wants to volunteer for that job?
Considering I was asking about it, I will take it from her.
Okay. She tells you you're gonna find six bills of like there's $666 inside that wallet at all times, for the most part. It basically refills like every other day, and it changes depending on where you are. So if you go to like Japan, for example, 660 yen is nothing, but over there you'd be like 660,000 or whatever it is, the equivalent thereof.
666 something. Yeah.
Precisely. And it's like it works wherever you take it. So whatever currency you need, it'll be there. This is a trick. She says this is a tool of agents that belong to the house, or at least in my particular room. This is something that no one else will be able to use that. When we use it, it replenishes from one day to the next. If you use it though, or somebody steals it from you, they use the money that's inside, and it's just a useless wallet after that. So at some point, I'm gonna need it back, so that I can give it back to you with some more money in it. She says. For now, though, you have $666 and whatever Gus left you. While you're in the house, though, that'll regenerate from one day to the next. Assuming you're not stuck.
Well, how many days are we going to be here?
Just a couple days.
I just take the money out and set it down and set the wallet next to it.
Sure.
I create a pile. I create a pile.
Yeah. You've got
I do my daily quest. I'm doing my daily quest.
You generate about $1,800 before you leave the room. So over the course of the next couple days, like, she leaves the room. Like, she has stuff that she needs to do as an agent of the house. So she leaves you in that room. She says, under no circumstances are you to leave this room. Do not. Because the house is sort of like a living organism.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if you start wandering the halls, you might never be able to get back here. Unless one of us comes to find you. So, I don't recommend you leave the room. Don't go into any of the rooms. She looks at Lucius when she says that.
Is there like a panic button somewhere that we can use to call any house people like you?
people don't often are not able to find agents of the house. Agents of the house typically find you, and yeah. So don't wander off, please.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'll come back and check in with you at the end of every day. Right now, I have to do a thing. Unless you want to help me, that's a whole other thing. I can take you with me, perhaps.
That could be interesting.
It's like I'm working on this thing. It's this fucking asshole. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. Maybe I shouldn't do this. She says she's kind of second guessing herself. Like I should probably not include you in this because this is kind of fucked up. But
because you had me at asshole. So
yeah. Yeah, he's a racist pig asshole named Rudyard Limpdyke, but most people call him Rudy Limpdick, just because of the way his name is spelled. It's Limpdyk, so it's Limpdyke, but most people call him Limpdick. And he has like his own radio show program, and he's like this racist asshole or whatever. And the house wants him for some reason. He's not like important or anything like that, but for whatever reason, the house seems to want to bring in this guy and flip him completely, like completely change who they are. And it's like, I'm doing a favor for a friend who is an agent of the Winter Room. The Room of Cold Reflection. And they want me to bring this guy in. They've had they had a problem, and they're up in the hospital right now. They're recuperating, and they can't do the thing. So I'm filling in right now for that room. It's kind of a weird situation, but I basically have to drag this guy somehow kicking and screaming into this room. And I don't know how to do that effectively. I'm not really that personable. And I tend to avoid obnoxious assholes like this guy. So I'm having a little bit of a hard time. I'm still a good agent, but I mean, I still have a long way to go to be as good as my mom was, he says.
Wow, family trade.
Yeah. Grew into it, I guess.
Well, if my character can give her a hand, he will.
He's like, well, the main thing I'm having problems with is not just convincing this guy, because I feel like I can't do that, but also he's well connected enough that he has a security team, and those guys are really scary. So I'm having a little bit of a hard time just trying to get him to move away from abandon his security team and show up at the house where we can potentially flip him. If you can help with that, I'd appreciate it, of course.
Yeah, I'll try.
She puts it to the rest of the group if you want to participate in this particular venture or not. You see, Alex is like, I hate racist assholes. I don't want anything to do with them. And you see, William is just like, this could be interesting. I want to see how the room would operate. And you see, Marsha's like, yeah, you're not going to see that. If we're successful, you might see him go into the room, but I wouldn't leave you in there with him. That would include that would leave you in there stranded with him until you come out different or not. And it's an experience. He's telling me. And he's like, oh, okay, never mind.
Turn around and look at the group and say, what say you?
Sean is just like, I'm still hurt from, all that nonsense. I'm going to stay here and heal up. If you guys want to go ahead and do whatever, then go right ahead. But I'm going to stay here and rest.
I'll come with if you want me to. I'm more than happy to help. Maybe they wear radios.
Sure. They look to you, Lucius.
Lucius would have been staring off for like the past 20 hours. 20 hours.
Yeah.
For like the past 20 minutes, or however long. He's lost track, and he just kind of goes, "Yeah, I'll join you." Yeah.
Okay.
This guy's got to be
Still
connected to something,
shit.
Lucius.
Yeah. Sure, yeah.
Are you sure you're all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah. She takes you aside as she's leaving the room to take you with her to work. She kind of pulls you aside as the four of you are leaving the room. She's like, "Your friend might be different from here on out. I would be cautious because if that's what's happening right now, he's going to go through this period of time that he's going to need to absorb and feel things out for himself. Because I think that room may have changed him, or maybe he changed as a result of the room. Is a better way to put it."
I'm still waiting for you to let me open one of these doors.
No, she says, "Not possible. Not going to happen."
If I help you with this,
she says,
if I help you with this, because if you leave me here, you have no way of actually stopping me anymore. If I help you with this, will you let me?
"I will do what I can." Yes.
All right. That's all I need.
All right. So the four of you walk out of one of the rooms of renunciation, and she opens the door. And this time, it doesn't open up to that abandoned office building in New Hampshire. Instead, it opens up to this. It looks to this like you're opening it up into this this building that's buzzing with people. And when you walk through, it's daytimes in the afternoon, and you're inside what seems to be a radio station. And there's a front receptionist there, the front desk, and there's a lady who's like answering phones and stuff like that, and on her computer just kind of clicking away, playing solitaire, not paying any attention to you. Just kind of wander in from one of the side rooms. No one seems to have noticed that you were already inside the building somehow. There's your typical sort of security officer, armed security officer at the front. He's just kind of like watching everybody who walks into the lobby, and you hear on the overhead speaker, there's some sort of a broadcast that's taking place, and you hear this like deep-throated voice of this Rudyard Limpdyke person, and "Oh, you don't want these people in our country," and blah 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 blah. Like he's just going off on some screed or whatever. And you've probably actually, Lucius, you've probably heard this guy before half a dozen times, just flipping through the AM stations at different times of the day, and like you happen upon his thing, and just like, because he's also a sort of conspiracy theorist, although he tends to direct his theories towards other people, like, people from not his country or whatever, or people with a different complexion than him. So yeah, he believes all sorts of things. Even old Lucius would go, that's not a real conspiracy theorist. You got it all wrong. It's not the lizard people, it's the shadow people. Like, he's got his facts completely convoluted or whatever. And he's right now he's in the midst of a commercial break where he's trying to sell like some, special pills or something for your extremities.
Yeah.
You see, Marcia's like, okay, so this guy, Limpdyke, he's got a close-knit security team who are always nearby, seemingly, and where he's operating out of. So, like, and he kind of like, she kind of points to different areas. Like, I've been casing this place for almost a month now, while the other agent of Reflection is resting up, and I've noticed that oftentimes if he takes his time when he goes to break, he often will leave the building with his little entourage of security people, and they drive off to his favorite belly burger place down the street. That might be the best time to grab him, unless we wait for him to go home, in which case we might be able to confront him there. Thing is, he always has at least 2 guards with him at all times, even when he's at home, because this guy's received death threats and stuff like that before, because he's so outrageous and so ridiculous. He tells people that were involved in mass shootings, like, oh, they dreamt that it was fake or whatever. Like, he comes up with shit like that. And so he's actually received like legitimate like lawsuits and death threats and stuff from all manner of people. And he still makes enough money to surround himself with bodyguards and such. So
I think it'd be best to do what we need to do when there's the least amount of security.
Bathroom,
Agreed.
burger joint.
But it also depends on what approach you're taking. So she kind of points that out. It's like, oftentimes, depending on the agent, it's either going to be brute force, like they're going to hit you with a tranquilizer dart when you're not looking and you're in the bathroom stall, and they're going to drag you into the nearest doorway. and off to the house you go. Other times it might be a little more subtle. You might be having to court this person over the course of months or years, try to convince him to take a trip with you to the house.
Well, if he's a conspiracy theorist, Lucius might be able to sway him, being kindred souls.
Convince him you have something to share that only he can hear, and that you'll be waiting for him in the second stall in the bathroom.
And since we kind of know that Lucius can turn conspiracy theories into reality,
Maybe.
I just know what reality is, and I don't think he's ready to hear it.
No, you have to come up with something that he thinks he's ready to hear. It doesn't have to be true.
Yeah, all right.
So, wait, you already came up with a plan? So he's kind of surprised. He was just about to take you on a little penny tour of the station, like, oh, I'll take you. I have papers that make me look like I belong here or whatever. But
you gave us everything we needed.
A plan, like,
a location, someplace out of the way, lighter security.
You get a glimpse of what this guy is like when the break is over, and he goes into like this whole, thing about how the people from such and such a disaster that are flooding into the country are actually like evil reptilian shapeshifters that are here to drop their hybrid babies and take over the country.
He's got to focus on better things.
This is kind of surprising coming out of Lucius, but you both kind of, what? Marcia's just like, oh yeah, believe me, I do not like listening to this guy at all, and I've had to listen to it for over a month.
All right, Lucius.
I'm so ready to be done with this guy already.
Make something up, write it on a piece of paper, and I'll drive it into his foot at the dinner table.
Okay, is that how you're going to approach it? What do you write down on the piece of paper, Lucius?
Lucius is going to think for a moment of the most outlandish theory, and
it's got to involve those people, quote unquote.
The lizard folk, whoever they are, wherever they're from. But I, Kisama, really want to trigger that whole thing of like, is it actually real? When I write this down, of this thing that Lucius thinks isn't true, and then it, like, something might happen with it. Okay. Lucius is going to say, he's gonna be like, I gotta make it sound believable. The lizard folk are working with the governor of Massachusetts to smuggle drugs through
Provincetown.
See the Twinkie box through Twinkie boxes.
All right.
And at the end of the note, add, they're watching you.
Second stall men's room.
Second stall men's room. Meet me there. Burger joint. There we go. Fold it in half.
Roll percentile, please, Keith.
Oh, please get a 1. Please get a 1.
Oh, that's a 58.
You made it?
I made it?
I don't know, did you?
Did I make it?
So you're like, reptile people are smuggling drugs through Twinkies, and they're getting help from the Massachusetts governor. You put it on a little note, and you handed it to Jesse. You're waiting for him to go down to like the burger place in the corner to like drive your little little bot over there. Give me a roll for that, by the way, just to see if like the security team doesn't see and go, aha, stomp.
Oops. Roll. 43.
You rolled a 43? Son of a... Whoa, okay. All right, then. Yeah, you you managed to drive the bot right underneath the guys of most of the agents that are around him at that time. One of them rolled 100, so he's like completely distracted by somebody who walks right in front of him. They're like, oh shit, check that out.
That was what I was waiting for. I drive it in right behind that person, like, and like bump it up against the Mark's foot.
You see, it's like it bumps into his leg. It's like, oh, what the fuck? The hell is that? He like reaches down and snatches up the. He kind of looks at the note, quizzically, like, oh, fuck. And then just then, like one of the other bodyguards notices and picks up the bot. I'm assuming this is like an RC car, like
yeah, it's like something I bought at Walmart. Yeah.
He picks it up and he's just like, he's examining it for, you know, bombs or something like that, and he calls the other guys like, hey, wake up. And he's like, what, huh? He pulls up the RC car for him, and it's like, oh shit, where's that coming from? And they start looking around. Give me a secrecy roll, Jesse. I'm assuming the rest of you are nearby as well.
Indeed.
Like a well-organized
Uh-oh.
Oh shit, Matt's failure.
I'm gonna try
out of the crowd.
I'm gonna try one of my rerolls. One of my rerolls.
Oh no.
Oh, hold on.
So it's not a match failure, but they see you running through the crowd like, oh shit, like trying to turn around and act slick, and they're like, hey, you with the hat.
I'll just like dive out and be like, I hope you got this. I'll toss a I hope you got this look to the chick.
One of them starts chasing you. Roll fitness.
Oh, come on.
Failed by one. Are you serious?
Can I push that?
Wow.
Can I push that?
You can use one of your rolls, yeah.
Well, no, I mean like pushing it like at the you know, in case he does shoot something at me, or like being able to, like being at a minus to dodge. Can I push to run or no? Is that not how it works?
No, that's not typically how it works.
All right,
you can
we'll take it.
Though, if you have
we'll take it.
Okay. So he manages to catch up to you.
If I hadn't just found out I was a robot, I would have made that roll, by the way.
Probably. You see, Jesse takes off into the crowd just across the street from the restaurant that's on the corner. He's dining outside, you know, so he's kind of like looking, and like the security guards go out there. One of them goes running after you. The other one watches and like hits his earpiece, and the other guys that are in the car start moving in that direction. You all see this. What are you doing? Marsha's like, oh shit, your friend. Are they gonna be okay?
Yeah,
remembers like
I'll be
entirely humans. He's like,
you need to get to the bathroom, okay? Marsha. Come on.
He's like, huh. Those liberal bastards, I knew it. He's like, he crumbles up the piece of paper and he's like, I gotta use the John. He gets up and he starts walking away. Lucius?
Yeah, Lucius. We were near Corey, right? Or would Lucius have been in the bathroom?
Like within his, yeah. So you would have all seen what just transpired. And Marcia's just like, oh shit, is your friend gonna be okay? Like,
yeah.
Can we go and grab him?
Yeah, let's go.
Just so you.
Damien, are you going with them, or are you doing something to like mitigate the security team?
Yeah.
So how many of the security team are heading out towards Jesse or trying to run after Jesse?
One is physically like on foot, like running after him, and they're like catching up, and there's another two that are in the car that are speeding in that direction. They're basically thoroughfare, so they're getting as fast as they can, but they're basically there as backup in case, you know, the guy's packing a weapon or something.
Yeah, I think I'm going to let's see here.
It's okay. I got this. Take care of the guy. I'm fine. Jesse gives you like a thumbs up as he goes running away.
All right.
It's working. Part of the plan.
All right. So let's go grab that guy.
All right. So the three of you start marching into the Belly Burger place and go into the men's room to look for the stall next to his or whatever. You make a note of his shoes based on what Marsha is telling you. Jesse, where are you leading this guy who's like right on your heels to?
Oh, As soon as we get like around the corner, I'm just gonna stop and put my hands up and be like, "Look, someone just paid me $666 to run the car into your friend with a note. I'm sorry. Look, I
Okay. Give me a.
I assume a lie.
Biased.
Oh, I'm
terrible. Or lie.
Oh, so close to being able to flip that one, but not.
I was gonna say if you have connect and
connect is higher, yeah. So I'll flip that with
appeal to his empathy. Go ahead.
Yeah, earning respect.
You're trying to appear pathetic.
I feel like I'm trying to earn the respect of the lady, so I want to handle this one by myself.
All right.
So that would be a 28 on a 50 if it's connect.
Oh shit. Okay, then yeah. You just like, oh please don't hit me. I'm just doing what I was told. Okay, here's some money. And he's like, get out of here, you asshole. Who sent you? He says.
I don't know, just some random kid on the street.
You run off, and he's like, yeah, I made $600. Nice. He looks me, stuffs that into his pocket as the car comes up. He gets in and is like, well, what was that all about? I don't know, some dumbass kid. Let's go back. I got. Hey, you want to hit the strip tonight? And he holds up his wad of cash that he got. They start circling back around. That gives you three the opening. You go into the men's room, and there's like, a couple guys and like their kid in here washing their hands at the sink. You see Rudyard like slinks into one of the stalls and like shuts the door and looks in either one of the stalls next to him like, where's this guy who's supposed to meet me or whatever. He looks around at everybody. Who's supposed to meet me in here? You see some of the other people there look at him like, this weirdo. They saunter off. And then the three of you walk in. Well, actually, just the two of you. You see Marsha's like, I'll wait outside. When you're ready, just bring him out and I'll walk him through the door. I'll walk him through a door, she says.
All right.
So they leave it up to you two. What do you do once you go inside? He's like locking himself inside one of the stalls by the time you get in.
So what Lucius is going to do is step into the stall next to him, and then like slide a note.
What does it say on the note?
All right, I'm tempted between like a legitimate note or just like a weird face scribbled onto it, because Lucius just does not care about this conspiracy theory. So it's just he's just doing it for the job.
Sure.
It's the distraction for Damien to like get the drop on the guy.
Think that over for a second. Damien, what are you doing while this is happening?
I'm kind of just gonna say, I'm gonna like mother under my breath, like, I'm keeping watch just in case they're outside. And I want to make sure the other guy in the stall hears that.
That's good. All right. You two can roll lie with a bonus. The both of you can from now on, because like you're creating this air of mystique around these reptilian people or whatever.
What's the bonus?
20%. Give you a 20% bonus to lie.
Oh, and I make it.
You made it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I got a 20%. It's 35, and I got 21.
All right. So what is it that you write on the note that you slip over to Mr. Limpdyke?
I did not do a good lie.
Limp dick is what the note says.
So, right, it's like, it's scribbled very just roughly, just, Mr. Limp Dick, I'm glad you came here. We don't have much time. Could I give him coordinates to the house?
Impossible, because the house is not
there.
anywhere in a fixed place or time.
That's
Can
right.
I contribute to his letter, to his note?
Sure.
We'll workshop it ahead of time.
Yeah, so what was the first part, Mr.?
Dear Mr. Limp Dick. It's what Lucius writes down. If you'd like to correct him on that, you can. That's what he writes.
Unfortunately, they might have already infected you.
Already infected.
Okay, because it's a failure and sort of a success, there's something that unexpected happens, I'm going to say. instead of him being like, "Oh yeah," he's like, "Oh no," and he runs out of the
stall.
he runs out of the stall, like, "Oh fuck, they're after me, shit!" And like he starts running out, like he's trying to escape. And he comes.
I try to stop him. I'm like, Mr. Limdick, Mr. Limdick, Mr. Limdick.
Oh, you're one of them, are you? He goes to take a swing at you.
We're here to help you, you idiot.
He misses you horribly. He rolled above his struggle. He's just like, tries to clock you, and you're just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. What are you doing?
I'm just telling you, we're here to help you. We're here to prevent the change.
Liar connect, whichever's higher. Go ahead and roll with a +10.
Let's see here.
Lucius chimes in with a, "Yeah, you're gonna become a liberal if you're not careful. Trying to help you."
Oh my goodness!
And just, oh no.
I'm gonna re-roll. I'm
just gonna say, like, if you have a re-roll, you may want to use it.
Yeah, I'm gonna re-roll. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna re-roll.
All right, go for it.
Yeah. Give me a minute. I might actually pump a spell into that.
Ooh. Magic involved. Always fun.
No, it costs too much. No.
Oh, no, we don't have enough charges.
I'm just gonna re-roll.
All right.
And pass. Okay.
There we go. You're like, calm down, Mr. Limdick. I'm here to help you. It's Limdick, damn it! He corrects you.
It's like, and I tell him, we're here to prevent the change. They're trying to change you into one of them. And as I turn him to one of the mirrors next to one of the sinks, and I actually do cast a minor spell, which affects his perception, where he sees that his eyes are slowly turning into reptilian eyes, and then back to human eyes.
He's like, oh, I knew I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have drank that water.
We can help you.
I knew that trip to Tijuana was gonna change me. Oh my god! You see, like, you thought, we gotta help you. We have a way to help you. Get it out of me. Get it out of me. I don't want to turn to one of them.
All right, come with us. Come with us.
Where are you taking me?
Let's go. So let's go. So I go to Lucius. Like, let's go. Act normal. Act normal.
The three of you, like,
just like get out of the bathroom. Just leads him out to Marsha.
You see, the commotion that occurred in the bathroom didn't go unnoticed, and you see some of the manager of the burger place, like, what's going on over here? She's being led by like some citizens arrests affiliate or whatever. Like, hey, I noticed some funny stuff going on in the bathroom over here. What's going on? And you see the manager's like checking out what's going on, and you see the three of you all like leaving at once or whatever, and it's like, oh shit. Marsha sees this, like, come on, into the she looks over and it's like, into the ladies' bathroom. She says, he throws open the door, and it's no longer the ladies' bathroom, and inside it's like, quick, come on, go.
Push him in.
What are you doing? Give me a struggle roll, each of you.
No.
Oh.
I ain't going in there. Where is that? No. You just need to beat a 15.
Oh! Key with the 15.
Nice.
Damn. Nice. Match failure.
Fail for me, but match failure. But I mean, if his character pushed him in, that's fine.
He elbows you in the face, Damien. He's like, get off me. But then like he manages to Lucius manages to grab a hold of him by surprise and just shoves him through the doorway, and Marsha's like, go, and she goes and runs in and like shoulder tackles him, shoulder pushes him into the room further. That's it. Excellent. Okay, knocks him forward and he just hits on his belly and slides onto the lacquered floor of the house, like in the lobby or whatever, and you all like run in behind him, and just then like the onlookers just like, what in the damn hell? Like, she just shuts the door, clunk. And when they open it back up, they just see this surprised woman, like, what? It's just like, can I go? Can I leave now? And they're both like, what the fuck just happened in here? On the other side, you reemerge and you see Rudyard's like, yeah. Oh, you're with them, aren't you? You're with the Democrats. And he points to like Damien. And you see Marsha is just like, Mr. Limpdyke, excuse me. It's okay. We got you. And he's like, we can help you. Okay, we're with you. We're not with the others. She says, and he's like, are you sure? And he's like sweating profusely now. And he's like, when you look at this guy, Lucius, you kind of get a glimpse of the what could have beens of yourself. Like, had you continued to go down that road, like, man, did I really look like fucking crazy when I would spout off things to people? Like,
that was nuts. Lucius like says that aloud with the most emotion he's had since he went into the room.
Yeah, you see, eventually, she's like, "Come with me, Mr. Rudyard. I can lead you to where you need to go. I can lead you to where all the answers lie. If you just follow me." And she's like,
So
"Yeah.
I just
Get those things out of me." What's that?
interrupt quickly, and I look at Marsha. I'm like, we're gonna need to go get Jesse after this.
Oh, is he okay?
Well, he's back there.
Oh shit! Damn it! Yes, you're right. Okay.
Once that's done, I'm pretty sure Jesse's fine for the moment.
She looks at each one of the rooms in the hallway, and it's like, this one, like right through this door, sir. And it's like she opens the door for him. It's like, step through. Everything will be answered shortly. Okay. And you see, it's like, oh yeah. I gotta get these things out of my body. I don't want to turn into one of them. Yeah, right through here. He steps through and says, what the fucking hell is this? And that's when she shuts the door. And on the other side, it's this garden. It's this desolate garden. Hedge maze and statues and perpetual cold. It's just freezing cold, but not so much so that you get frostbitten, just enough for it to be uncomfortable. And there's no one else but him. And he's like, where am I? Hey, where'd that door go? Where are you? He's like looking for a door, and he's outdoors somewhere in the night, in this perpetual night, and it never ends. And he's just like, oh God, what's happening? He looks around, he sees this pool of water nearby. He goes over and he looks into it. And he sees all the harm that he's caused people. Whether indirect or not, intentional or not. He sees all the terrible things that he's insinuated about other people. He sees all the damage, social and otherwise, that he's conducted throughout his entire life. And he sits there in cold reflection of his sins for a small eternity. Until he breaks, until finally he drinks from the reflection that he sees in the water. And in a way, symbolically sort of cleanses himself of the person he used to be. And eventually he reemerges as someone else. Still Rudyard Limpdyke, but someone who renounced his old self and embraces the new version of himself.
The sad thing is his radio show is going to get canceled now, so...
His radio show canceled, all endorsements gone. He walks away from that whole life. He burns it down, leaves it behind him. Marsha goes back for you, Jesse, as you're like rounding the corner as the security team disappeared. You see a door to a sporting goods store opens, and there's Marsha. She's like, come on.
I was gonna say, after ditching the security people, I probably find my way to the most out of the way alleyway door ever and just wait at it.
That's where the door, back door opens, and there she is. Like, and she like yanks.
I figured that's how it worked.
Don't ever. Yeah, it's like, now I'm gonna keep my promise, but the one thing I I'm not going to say is that you may regret what you choose. You need to think very carefully about what it is you're going to do now. She takes you through back into the hallway, into this junction of never-ending rooms inside the house.
Oh, we'll be here a few more days. Give me some time to think about it.
That sounds like a deal, she says. And yeah, she lets you think about that. What's going through Jesse's mind at this point? Like, what is it that he hopes the house will accomplish for him?
Jesse hopes to either like reconcile or find some memory of this hidden knowledge, and is willing to quote unquote trade the memories of what is the right timeline, which I believe should
power.
Yeah, which I believe should be enough to gain a significant charge for mechanomancy.
Yeah, if you trade enough significant portions of...
Like, I want to forget whether or not I saved Sean. And,
it's a different kind of magic, though. Because with mechanomancy, you have to give up your memories as fuel, and then you have to work on the thing to actually create something that is...
Right.
alive, so to speak. And
I guess what I was saying is, can I give up the memories of like what the right timeline is to like gain the charge to work on a thing soon?
That would require a different kind of
okay. All right.
One that Marsha tells you though is steeped in Frank Gordon's chosen school of annihilamancy, because with annihilamancy the idea is that fire is the true revealer of truth, and symbolically. And so with that, you can literally burn things and reveal whatever truths you wanted to regain.
That's what Gus was doing.
Yeah. Similar to that, yes. That is a form of it. He was doing some random magic shit, but like one of the things you can do, she tells you for an example, she says like, I used to know a Sterno once upon a time. He died, but one of the things that you can do, or one of the things they can do, they can write a question on a piece of paper, and when they burned it, the ashes from that burned piece of paper with the right amount of mojo would reveal the answer to you, whatever the question is. Some people, though, didn't like the answers to their questions. You want to tread very, very carefully with the questions that you're asking the universe, because sometimes you may not like the answer. And that's where we'll stop.
Tread carefully.
Tread carefully. All right. That's all the time we have for this session. I hope everyone here and those watching enjoyed the show. We'll continue our adventure into the Occult Underground next Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you enjoyed tonight's program, feel free to check out our other awesome adventures and terrifying tales. In the way of awesome adventures, Tuesday we have Exalted Essence Kickstarter on the Onyx Path channel. Wednesdays brings us the fan favorite Fallout Radioactive Summers run by our very own Space Lord Pajamas. And coming soon to Thursdays and Fridays, Star Trek Dauntless and Scarred Lands Dracogenesis. For terrifying tales, on Mondays we have They Came From Beyond the Grave. Check out Chronicles of Darkness Mage the Awakening Book 1 Defiance on Tuesdays, Alien the RPG Acid and Ice on Thursdays, Contagion Chronicle continues on Fridays, and later this evening we bring you the V20 Anniversary Chronicle Starlight and Smoke. And now for those of you that stayed until after the credits roll, it's time to vote for favorites. Anybody can choose another player as their favorite for that session for any reason, and you, the audience, can do the same as well. Just remember that to cast your votes in the Twitch chat before the reel ends, and you too can vote for favorite for all of our shows every week. Beginning with Alan, who's your favorite and why?
To give my vote to Lucius Kisama for not listening and going in that room.
Roller coaster ride of emotions that went through this episode. Excellent. And Key, who is your favorite and why?
Don't make me choose. It's got to be Corey, the construct.
Oh, that bit
That
was
was
good, wasn't it?
that was a great scene.
That's a big surprise.
Yeah. And Corey, who was your favorite and why?
I'd love to round it out, but I have to also throw it to Lucius.
Yes.
Just that, the moment of coming back and just being like, nah, maybe that's not so important anymore.
Yeah, that's a big one.
It's going to be fun to
Excellent.
see play out.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I've been Eric at Maroon Recluse on Twitter, and you can find me here later tonight for Starlight and Smoke. Big thanks as always to our patrons for supporting what we do. If you want to be awesome and do the same, check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/VorpalTales. And keep up to date on what we're doing throughout the month by checking the updated calendar on VorpalTales.com. Thanks to you, our viewers, and fans for tuning in. As always, stay charged, never play a drinking game with a booze hound, and don't violate your taboos. Good night, everyone.